You are now listening to Nerd Rage Radio with Bobby Skullface and Adam Russman. This podcast is intended for mature audiences only and may not fit with your sensitive sensibilities. You may be a victim of meaningless outrage, or you may, in fact, be a big ninny pants. If this is the case, please feel free to turn it off now. This is no country for Ninny McNinny pants. So crack open the Mountain Dew. Make sure the cheese doodles are super fresh. We're in your mother's basement. It's Nerd Rage Radio.
And welcome to episode 158 of Nerd Rage Radio with your host, Joe the K fucking W.
What up?
Also known as Uncle Dolphin, for his smooth skin and very powerful physique. And the little sound he makes when he's getting pegged.
Hey, that's legit.
I think your mic is really low, Joe.
Is it? Or
you
am
go.
I just talking in the wrong spot?
You're probably not hitting that spot right, son.
Mine's like a bonobo.
Is it?
That's what they do.
I thought yours was more like.
Robert did tickle me like a bonobo.
Did he? I think we need to start with that.
did-
How was your nerd retreat with Robert D? That's Mr. Bobby Skullface. I'm Adam Russman. Welcome to Nerd Rage Radio. If you really want to help us out, go to the Patreon.
Yes.
Did I talk about the knockoff stuff on the regular show? Because we're getting we're
Yes.
getting calls now. But people's like, hook me up, bro.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And let me tell you, I don't know where this stuff comes from.
You,
Yeah.
you talked about it last week.
Invited into a very private club.
Yeah.
All right.
We don't get this stuff directly.
The first
I'm
rule
not
about
this
Fight
person
Club
is-
is you don't talk about Fight Club.
You talked about it
I
last week.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Anyway, tell me about your nerd retreat.
It was great. I had a great time. I do need to mention a couple things that I made note of. One thing was, as we're pulling into the neighborhood where we stayed, which was beautiful, by the way, fucking awesome. There's this like huge pond with all these ducks in it, and Selena's like starts laughing, and she's like, "How do ducks walk on water?" And I was like, "Well, they're not walking on water; they're floating. They're floating. They're very buoyant." And she said, "Well, what makes them float?" And I was like, I would imagine it's a number of things. Like I started going into this like whole conversation about
Hollow
it.
bones.
And she was like,
fat.
Feather-
she was like,
having air.
I want to cut them open and see how they work.
Oh my God.
Dude.
You both have one of these.
And I was worried about mine. I'm
Yeah,
a little
you
less
both have
worried
one.
now. It's your time to worry.
And I just looked back at her and she has this huge smile on her face and she's laughing and she's like, I want to cut them all open. And then she said, and then a little baby one, just the head. I was like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Fucking psychopath.
Is it a 1 out of 3 thing? If you have 3 kids, one of them is going to be psycho.
I don't know, bro.
Probably.
Do you have any? Either of you have? Yeah, you guys have up to 3 siblings, right? Is one of you guys, or maybe it's you, that's psycho?
I don't think it's me. I think that there's only. I think that all of my family, my siblings are all fucked up in their own
Yeah.
special way.
Yeah.
So let me see. Before we left, I have to mention one thing that I know that you will get a kick out of. So I did 2 Defensor pieces. I had a Defensor commission. I did 2 versions. I did the Japanese version because I prefer it, and then the American version because that's what they requested. And I sent it to him, and I was like, "Which one do you want?" And he was like, "I want the American version. That's the one I want. That's the one I like." I was like, "Okay, cool." But I wanted both because I prefer the Japanese one. So Jana's looking through. I ordered a bunch of prints, getting ready for Baltimore and whatnot. And Jana's going through them, and she says, "Why do you have 2 of the same?" And I was like, "They're not the same. They're different." And she was like, "Oh, they are different." And she was like, "What is this all about?" And I was like, "Well, one's the American version, and one's the Japanese version." And she was like, "Well, which one is the?" Oh, I think I know.
Oh,
Because the American one has like the big like like the big like cop shades, you know what I mean? Like and the Japanese one has like regular eyes. And she was like, "That's why, isn't it?" And I started laughing. I was like, "That's not why." I was like, "It has to do with police, not with culture." I was like, "He has the same eyes as all these other ones. It's not that." And she was like, she's not sold on the idea whatsoever.
well, she was gonna get a present today, but not anymore.
Hey, racist.
So, we get there on Thursday. The Robert Detoff family doesn't show up until Thursday night around 7. We had bets. Laura said 5. Jana said 6. I said 7.
Ooh.
It was-
What time are they supposed to be there?
I don't know if they had a time they were supposed to be there, but they were going to try to leave between.
No. Time out. Now you're giving excuses. When you meet up with somebody, you always have a time.
Within half
We'll
an hour.
be there about 4.
No,
We'll be there about
4:30.
5.
No, because we were able to get the house at noon, so we were going to be there by noon to get the keys and shit. So it was kind of like whenever you get there, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
So Friday morning.
No.
Not fine. See what I'm saying? Not fine.
No, I mean, well,
Not fine.
But if Friday morning, like I wouldn't have complained, to have a night with the family, like in a house, like I wouldn't have complained about that at all. I just assumed they were coming Thursday because they were leaving Thursday.
Gotcha.
So I think at one point the conversation was he was going to try to be there around noon, but that was quickly disbanded. I mean, it was a 5.5 hour drive for him.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 2 hour drive for us. So, he's like, well, maybe we'll leave around 10. I don't really want to leave any later than 10. Traffic's going to be crazy. That kind of talk.
Yeah.
And so I was like, 7. And Laura was like, no, 5. He'll leave. They'll stop for lunch and stuff. I'm going to say 5. And Jane was like, well, I'll say 6 because it's in the middle.
Split the difference.
And it was like
Price is Right.
6:48 when they got it.
Price is Right rules. You
Yeah.
lose.
So we
You drive through Baltimore again?
No. He didn't get lost in Baltimore this time. At least I don't think so. We hung out a good bit and had turkey clubs and stuff. That was cool. The next day was Friday. We went to these falls. Like there's like 4 falls.
Mm-hmm.
They were fucking. This one was spectacular, and then the other ones were fine.
Did you guys go swimming in them?
The kids did.
Okay.
But
That's the one I lost my ring. That one that you could like walk underneath the fall, like with the big like pool, and there's like a secondary fall. Did you guys do that one?
So there's
talking about?
4 falls.
Yeah.
There's Muddy Creek Falls, which is the huge one.
Yeah.
And then there's Tolliver Falls, which is the small one.
I think it's Muddy Creek.
And then the 2 other ones were Big Swallow and Small Swallow, so to speak, falls. And that was more like rapids, in my opinion, than
Yeah,
falls.
yeah.
But
Well, I'm pretty sure it's the Muddy Creek one. So I lost my wedding. I say you walk under the falls, and the water's so cold it'll shrinkage, and my wedding ring slid right off my finger.
oh my god,
Yeah. So of course I'm like looking for it. Like they fell in this area. The water would take it around this area, and I'm looking at my mom. I'm like I lost my wedding ring. Adam lost his wedding ring. My wife just starts crying. Right. Anyway, my cousin was dating this mechanic dude. He's a pretty cool guy, but like slim build, very, very thin. But he's a mechanic. He's got big ass forearms. His hands are like constantly stained, like all greasy, whatever. That motherfucker like went in like this. He's gripping his hand down and came up with like some pebbles. Looked like Gollum bringing up the one ring.
nice!
I shit you not. I'm like, motherfucker
fucking
found my
amazing.
That is
ring.
awesome.
It was pretty awesome.
That's a fucking awesome
It
story.
was awesome.
Like that's fucking great. Like I'm like goddamn. Like I want to see I want that to be the third act of a movie.
Precious. And like I have a titanium ring, but I actually got it to look like the one ring. It's not gold. Like I wanted the
Right.
same shape and
Right,
everything,
right.
and thickness and whatnot, so to speak.
So we went to the falls. It was great. I had a blast. And then we had some ice cream. I ate like a champ. Now I'm back on the saddle, like because I ate whatever the fuck. I took the Joe approach. I ate what the fuck I wanted.
on vacation?
And now
Don't worry about it.
I'm back to knuckling down, or buckling down, which is the right turn of phrase.
Okay, Deluxe.
Yeah. So then the next day we went to they have like a little amusement park, like a
Is
roller
it
coaster.
turning phrase or turn of phrase?
Turn of phrase. I don't know. Did you go to that? The old music park. It's got like a roller coaster. You control the velocity.
Yeah,
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I was fucking pedal to the metal all the time. Like, and there was a couple parts that had a little pucker factor. I was like, dude, we're gonna come fucking flying out of this thing. This old fucking rickety thing has been on this mountain for God knows how long. These fucking hillbillies keeping it up.
45 years.
Like,
Goddamn hillbillies.
I was like, what the hell? But it was fine. And then they did like a spider monkey course and all this kind of shit, which was all cool. And then they did this thing like mining for gems, where like you buy a bag of dirt and like you sift it through. Like a bag of dirt's like fucking $15 a piece. Like it's all a fucking racket, But whatever, they had a good time.
That's how they make money.
Yeah. So we came back, and then the next day we did something else. Why can't I remember? My memory is fucking
Went
dog
for a hike
shit.
in the woods.
That was the falls.
Oh, okay.
And that's another
Sounds
thing.
so bitter.
I am a little bitter.
Well, let me say that was my favorite part of it.
Good. So you good enough for the hike?
Well, yes,
Oh,
with a destination.
okay.
If I have a destination, like if I will walk anywhere, if there's end if the purpose of the walk is not the walk itself.
Okay.
Like I
So
would
if I
the
drop,
journey.
if we get dropped off in Pennsylvania and we want to walk to Harper's Ferry, you're down.
as long as there's something I want to see in Harper's Ferry.
Yeah, it's a great little town.
If it's a cool little town, then probably like or they drop me off and they're like, you could drop me off at fucking West Baltimore and be like, look, you got to make it to fucking Collector's Corner, and I'd be like, cool, because I have an end goal. I want to see what's in Collector because I wanted to see these falls. So I enjoyed the walk, and I could have walked for 18 miles. Wouldn't have made a difference. Like I was enjoying it. It's when you walk and you're just like, let's walk around. Let's walk for the sake of walking, and we walk around a circle.
around the block.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
I
you
don't
come
do that
back. I'm
shit.
like, fuck that. Anyway, we did something else, and I don't know why I can't remember it. We ended up going. I don't know. We went to like a little lake. We did some other shit. It was great. And Robert and I went live and did a little toy review.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
I watched this.
That was fun. It was good. There at the end, I did ask Robert. We had like a little campfire and
He
shit.
had a little potty mouth in that review, though.
Yeah, I
Didn't
know.
approve.
I know.
Didn't approve.
We were having a little campfire, and Laura was like, what was your favorite? What was your least favorite thing of the trip? And Robert was like, I think it was great. He said, you guys were very patient, and we tried our best.
Nice.
it was really really well put. The second, not the morning of the falls, but the morning after that, we went to the amusement park. They were kind of on it. The morning of the falls, we were supposed to leave at like 8 or 9, and I think we left at like 11:45. And I was like, wow, this is gonna be some trip. But the second day was fine.
Was it not waking up one time or taking a long time to get ready?
It's just it's like
I can see
it's
Robert being a, what is that word look for? You kind of loiter around, meander. Like,
Well-
hey, we're gonna go this big. Yeah, we're gonna go over here. And then, but have you ever read the label of one of these bottles?
It's a
This
lot
is
of-
really interesting. If you ever stop, I'll stop. That's a nice phone case. Does this come with a good warranty like the other phone cases? Okay, I'm hurry.
It's
Let me go to the bathroom.
It's a lot of spinning wheels. Like it's a lot of like let me make myself some breakfast. And like, you get halfway through the making of the breakfast and you're like, and then out of the corner of your eye you see the trash is full. So I'll go take the trash out. And then you go to take the trash out and you see that the dishes need to be put in the dishwasher. So like 3 things are kind of in the works, but nothing has really gotten done.
Yeah.
So it's not laziness.
It's time management.
It's
ADD?
Yeah, it's a
get
little
like that.
ADD, a little time management. It's a little but it was interesting. And I think that what he said about we tried our best and you guys were very like, I think that was like that sounds like a pre-written ready for court speech. Like it was on the money, you know what I mean? So yeah, and you know what's funny is I still don't feel like I got enough time with him. Like, because we ended up doing a lot of family shit and a lot of, just keeping it going, keeping the wheels moving, keeping everything greased. And like, I don't feel like him and I got a chance to really fucking kick it. Like we hung out one night on the balcony while I was grilling and then we hung out while the kids were doing the spider monkey shit. And that was about it. Like really, just the two of us hanging out.
Like a ropes course, is that what you mean?
Yeah, like what was like a zip line and an
Yeah.
obstacle and whatever. But it was actually called the Spider Monkey course.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I thought you were just talking about Spider Monkey, Chip.
No. I watched Shape of Water.
Okay.
It's fine. It's fine.
See, now I think it's really good. Now I really want to see it.
It's
Didn't want to see it before. Now I really want to see it. I'll be honest with
This
you, Joe.
is Bobby.
Joe, you want to go see it with me?
No.
so
I
it's
saw out of the corner of my eye on the plane.
Well,
It wasn't.
so first of all, I want to say to Esteban, who I think the world of and has been a Patreon supporter and a big supporter of everything that we've done. The last time I talked about Mr. Del Toro, he thought I was being a little critical.
okay.
So I'm going to try to remain level-headed in
All right.
regards to my criticism.
Okay.
My biggest criticism of him is that I think that he gets a lot of credit for being a visionary and hyper creative. And I think that his creative well is actually fairly shallow.
It's like all of his creatures, you know that they're their creatures. Almost like if you ever hear a John Williams piece of music, you know it's John Williams.
Yes.
Right? So it's not that they're not visually interesting,
Agreed.
but they all come from like the same missing. They all evolve from the same creature type.
I talked to Gary yesterday about it,
Gary.
and I think I put it
Gary.
aptly where I was like, I think all of his monsters come from underneath the same bed,
Okay, I'm picking up what you're throwing down there.
and this one's no different. You know, many people thought this was the same fish man that was in fucking Hellboy because
Is it
no,
okay? Does it look like it?
But I
though?
mean,
Yeah.
he didn't design the Fishman in Hellboy. That's just
yeah, but it doesn't look like the comic book.
he didn't design it per se, but he definitely he tuned it.
It looks like the same monster that does this thing.
doesn't look as I don't know. I like his stuff, so I don't know.
So I don't.
I understand that you can recognize his style, but I don't think they all look the same.
So I don't dislike it. Okay, I don't. I just like.
Overrated?
I'm
maybe?
gonna need if you're an incredible gymnast,
Yeah.
you gotta show me something other than a somersault for me to co-sign that. Otherwise, I'm gonna say you're really good at somersaults. And a somersault is kind of a trash gymnast trick. I can do one. Anyway, the heart of this story is Beauty and the Beast.
Right.
You know, like there's very few differences, really, in a way. You know, like thematically, anyway.
Right.
So look, is it in the great scheme of things on the internet have to be the greatest movie ever or the worst movie ever? It's the greatest movie ever. But in a spectrum,
It's not that.
it's fine. You know, but
Was the story good though?
yeah, I mean, is Beauty and the Beast good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Okay, is that archetype?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
So, you know, except I mean, I guess you can turn it. He turned it on its head, where humanity is kind of the beast. You know, like you can make that argument.
okay.
I mean, it was like that in Beauty and the Beast too.
I agree. But I don't think it should have. So I've seen this, 3 Billboards and Darkest Hour in the last 2 weeks. This is by far the worst of the 3. You know,
And it's the one that won best.
and it's the
Picture.
one that won Best Picture.
Gotcha.
I think this dude gets a pass, and I'm not sure why. But I don't think it. Like I said, I don't think it's bad. I just don't. I'm not writing home about it. I'm going to talk on a podcast about it, and then I'm done. What else?
So would you buy it?
No, absolutely not.
But if it was $5,
No.
on Black Friday,
No,
really?
no, no. I have no interest in never seeing it again.
Wow.
And-
Not even
and-
just to own it.
And the Netflix version had the bonus features on it, so I got that knocked out too.
Oh, really? It's on Netflix right now.
Mail away.
Oh. You mean movies to home?
DVD now or whatever.
DVD, yeah. It's not even really Netflix anymore.
So I also watched the Infinity War commentary, or part of it. I keep falling asleep because I'm using it as
Yeah.
a tool to fall asleep, so it's working. But they said that they talk about the Hulk Banner situation a little bit,
Okay.
and it's supposed to be the reason why he can't change is because Banner is angry. I mean, the Hulk is mad at Banner for using him like only when he needs him. Basically, just using him. Like you're
Right.
just using me, you know. And like now I'm not going to be there when you need me.
Oh.
So
So he has a personality and he has his own feelings.
I think his personality is evolving
yeah,
from the first film until recently.
and also the Black Order fella with the mystical powers. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's he like originally was going to be a Mephisto type character for Thanos the entire movie.
Oh, really?
They were going to use him as that archetype, and I guess
Okay.
ended up not.
Huh.
And that's all I have here. And then Selena wanted to know how ducks work.
All right.
Yeah, it was short, but a lot of that was vacation. Oh, I did read the 2 Hawkeye books that I said I'd started.
Yeah.
Paul C. let Chris let me hold.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Fucking
Did Chris like him?
no.
so
got
you
trashed.
just do whatever
Well,
he says opposite.
Yeah, he thought they were fine. They're outstanding. Like they're poetic. They're poetic in the same way of like Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb's work. Like
Long Halloween.
any of the color books.
Yeah.
Like they're
Okay.
color.
We're not going to talk about Daredevil Yellow.
But like there's definitely a tone to each book.
Yeah.
And there's a vibe and a mood, and it's really about Hawkeye, like what it must be like in almost the day-to-day life of a average motherfucker, for the lack of a better term, that's part of the Avengers.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. And like there's like some really like heartfelt moments in it. Like real quick, one quick story. There's a guy that he's like a landlord of this building. How that comes to be is central to the plot, but it doesn't matter for the sake of this conversation. And one of the guys that lives in the building is this guy named Gil. Gil's dad lives in Rockaway, Queens, and their neighborhood is going to get hit hard by the storm Sandy that's coming through. So they get on the road and they go up to try to shelter in place because there's no hope to get out at this point. So they bring sandbags and they're doing all this shit to help fortify the home. Gil and his father don't speak, and his mother has passed, and all of his mother's belongings are in the basement. And he's pissed. He's like, he didn't even bother to bring up the fucking boxes with all my mother's things in them. Like, this fucking guy, like he's just so self-centered and blah, 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 blah. So he's in the process of getting up. The storm lets loose. Everything breaks. The fucking water's coming in, floods the house. They run up and escape to the second floor. Gil's like, my mom's shit, runs downstairs, dives in the water to try to get it, fails. Hawkeye gets in, saves him, brings him up, and he's like, everything that was my mother's is lost. And Hawkeye's like, not everything. And there's this shot of his father sitting bummed out about it all. You know what I mean? But it's that's fucking awesome. But it takes place in just such this little quiet, tucked away book away from the big threat of the universe and everything else. It's just a nice, good, simple story. Yeah. Anyway, so I quite enjoyed it. And then I read one of the Dawn of Jedi books. I'm going to try to read all the old EU comics, so I'm going in order. I never read them in order. I read them as they were released. Now that it's done, there's a fucking cap in it. I'm going to go back and reread them all. And I read the first one, and I'm having a hard time making sense of it, so I'm going to read the part 2 to it, and then I'm going to let you know how I feel about it.
Sounds like a short experiment.
Yeah, it might be. And that's it.
Joe?
Me.
Joe, you have your shit queued up next time. All right, you know what? I'm skipping you, Joe.
It's not always me. It's sometimes somebody else.
See, Joe, why do you talk so poorly about yourself? We're always here to support you.
Hey, Joe. You're talking about my friend.
I watched season 7, Voltron. Oh, the last season, whatever season it is.
How was it?
I liked it a lot. I don't understand any complaints that people had.
It was just the gay.
About the gay. I don't understand.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I wouldn't have even thought it would have not come up on my radar as any issue if no one mentioned it. I'm like, okay, it went smoothly as part of the story.
Because you don't speak for the community.
Yeah,
Joe.
Their issue is that basically it wasn't solidified as gay enough. Honestly, I mean, and I don't mean that in a condescending way. It's just how their complaints came across. They call it queer baiting. We looked that up. It just means like you're hinting at the idea of gay, but you're not showing them.
Sure, you're not even gay enough.
Snuggling on the couch and having a bit of popcorn together.
But I mean,
we do that all the time.
It's true.
It's subtle. I mean, I picked up what it was.
What they were putting in. All right.
And I'm like, why do you need two dudes making out to know that they're gay?
I mean, I agree with you. I agree with you. You don't need that. You don't need that. I
don't need it in a heterosexual couple either to know that they're a couple.
Right, exactly. Just little things here and there. I don't.
What did you think of him being sick, though? Do you think that was
It didn't bother me.
Really? I felt that was totally out of left field. I don't like it at all.
It gave more connection between him and Keith that he was sick, and I mean, I guess he's fine.
Why?
They had more character moments because he was sick and Keith finding out and him wanting to go on a mission when he shouldn't. And he left behind his boyfriend.
I don't know if I don't think that was necessary though.
I know it added to it for me. It wasn't necessary. I mean,
when you say sick,
necessary.
Do you mean unwell or sick on the mic? Because there's a lot of rap drama going around this week.
He's sick on a bike.
Okay, sick on a bike.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
All right, fair enough.
He is sick on the bike.
But I mean, they didn't say he was going to die.
So what do you think of the big
Atlas?
Atlas? What do you think of the big Atlas moment?
Dude, they went full Gurren Lagann. I don't know how I feel about that because there's a lot of Gurren Lagann reference throughout the entire Voltron.
Yeah.
So it's obviously an homage. So it's not a ripoff. It's a difference between a ripoff and homage.
Of course.
So I like it.
Hold on. Are you telling me, Joe? I'm gonna be honest with you right now.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Yeah, bro.
I'm gonna be very.
I'm Patreon for fucking ever, Joe.
I'm gonna be very upset if you didn't get a giant big robot boner when you saw that shit happen.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
Okay, you did.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm making sure because when I saw it, my response was like, bah! But my first thought was like, Joe is gonna love that shit.
I did.
Especially when the hands came out.
I wanted to interject with a small
Interject.
Interject.
What is it?
That's when you break up the Eiffel Tower.
I did some interjecting the other day.
Did you?
You know what I'm saying?
I asked you, but
I
you
know.
didn't interject.
Yeah, I couldn't. I had shit to
Your
do.
first day with no kids.
Fucking printing
was
business.
doing shit.
Fucking goddamn racket. Anyway, had an idea for another Patreon thing if you had the time.
I'm gonna soon.
If you came over, you come over once a week usually anyway.
Yeah.
And looked at all the new figures that I get that week. And then at the end of the month, we did like a conversation about all those figures. You know what I mean? Like, I was listening back to the Robert D one, and I was like, man, that's a good platform. Like, just a conversation about toys that people are both looking at.
Yeah.
If we did that, had a little conversation about like, Hot Toys this, Hot Toys that, Marvel Legends this, Black Series that, third party this, TF that, and then put it out. And of course, I would love for you, but your schedule's fucked.
No, I got something I want to talk to you about. You just reminded me of it.
Okay.
You just reminded me.
Off air?
We can talk about it now.
The tone is crazy. like, do you want to talk about it off air? Yeah, we can talk about it.
So come to find out. So Disney made a move a few years ago to stop the quote-unquote princess movies.
Really?
Yeah. So it was a conscious effort that every movie since The Frog Princess was going to be the last quote-unquote princess movie.
Okay.
Now, they have had, of course, Frozen.
Mm-hmm.
They have had Moana.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say there's one more recently. I can't recall.
Mm-hmm.
But they want to have these strong female characters, but they want to make the characters just as popular with boys as with girls.
Uh-huh.
And it hasn't gone very well.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't imagine.
So-
we need bigger
so-
ass.
Disney's new strategy now,
Uncouth.
is to make Marvel focus for boy sales and to make Star Wars focus for girl sales.
Why would they need to focus anything more on girl sales?
I don't know. That's just their strategy.
I mean, they have plenty of.
It doesn't make any sense to
They're-
me if their girl sales are already doing well with like my kids love Moana.
Like the
My-
brand stuff.
And I know the girls love Frozen.
That's what they're focused on. So like that's why you have Rey as being the main character, female character. You have Jen being a strong female character.
Solo.
Yeah, the female, whatever her name is.
No.
What's her name?
I
don't know.
See, I disagree. I think this
No,
sounds like bullshit to me. I'm going to be honest.
Is
See
this
how
hearsay or is it a report?
you see how defensive he's
It doesn't
got?
make sense to me either. I'm just-
Yeah.
See how
No,
defensive
no,
he's
no,
got?
no.
It just doesn't make
It's not
sense.
defensive.
And it's funny because Bobby's uptick in doll purchases here recently.
Yeah, it should show otherwise. No, I can't. I just can't see it. I can't
Because
see
the
it.
mainline Disney is already for girls, and it makes sense for Marvel superheroes to be for boys. But even the girls like that too. So Star
Yeah, and they're
Wars,
pushing for all females with Marvel now.
And I would think Star Wars should just be their everybody brand because everyone can like Star Wars.
Yeah, I don't know. I see kids. I feel like I see more girls into Star Wars now than before, but I feel like I still see boys into Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like, I think that Star Wars is for them is definitely a catch-all.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're
that's
definitely
what-
trying to widen the net for girls.
And they even had that. They even had the doll series with
the
Star-
Forces of Destiny.
Yeah. So that's their focus is to make Star Wars more.
But see, I don't
focused
think
for-
Rebels is for girls.
I don't know.
I think they're just widening the net. I don't see evidence of an all-female push.
That was on, and it was a story even on CNN. I'll find it for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll read it. I just,
'Cause,
unless it's like, fucking Iger and all of them saying, yeah, no, that's what we're doing. Then I'm like, this sounds like bullshit to me.
Okay. I don't know why he gets defensive about it.
No, I just disagree. I'm not defensive.
Okay. All right.
I feel like you're defensive about my defense. I think we're going to see a strong push in Marvel in that direction.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Anyway,
So,
continue your story, Joe.
Yeah, I'm down with that. That sounds great. I don't really talk to anybody else about toys,
Yeah.
and I get to look at shit I normally don't get to look at.
And it would be the opportunity to talk about figures that I'm not really reviewing anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not
Yeah.
really doing Marvel Legends anymore. And, like, you and I already had a conversation about some of those Legends that
Yeah.
probably would have made good material to listen to.
Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, I know a lot of the stuff you look at is other people's stuff. That's why I hover over there sometimes. But
Yeah,
I never
yeah,
touch
yeah.
anything. I never actually look at it because it's other people's shit. But this will give me. An
I do
excuse
like
to
the
that.
new. I do like the new thing you got over in that case.
The Ray?
No, right there.
I don't know. Oh, did you put Wolverine in there? I can't see it. Out of sight, out of mind.
You knew about it.
So this motherfucker's got 8 empty spots in a DTOF, but fucking Wolverine goes on a fucking back table in the corner someplace.
You said you were going to get a shelf for him.
somebody
Until
confirm
we get
that.
a shelf, there's empty spots over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they're full, I'll get a shelf.
All right.
I'll get a shelf. We'll make that happen.
A couple of more things I want to say about Voltron is like I'm interested now where they're gonna go.
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder if they're gonna go full Gurren Lagann and have just bigger and bigger robots.
Yeah, maybe. I do like the fact how slow he was
Yeah.
too.
Well, Big Things is like relatively slow. It looks
Yeah.
slow from far away, but if you're close to it, the velocity is actually
Very fast. Yeah.
The last fight was awesome.
At Gurren Lagann, they say that battle would have taken like millions
Infinite
of
amount
years.
times. Yeah, because of how
fast they were
covering.
moving. Yeah.
That last robot was awesome. I don't know where it came from. They kind of just threw that out of nowhere, but it was cool.
Well,
enough.
that's out. But I don't want to spoil it, but you know who it's from.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But it came from nowhere. Like literally, it had nothing to do with anything, and it just came. It just showed up.
So the interesting thing, and I guess we'll go ahead and spoilers alert.
It's been out
get
for
off
like
here.
a month. If I've watched it, you should have
It's
watched
not.
it.
It's been out for like a week or two, Joe. Came out like
I know, but if I watch something, people should have watched it already.
so. There is a time gap that happens. You know, they like go
2 year?
is it 2 or 3
2 or
years?
3 years, something like that.
So they go into the future because of some relatively bullshit. But remember, the other thing they say is that Altean settlement disappeared. In that place, their time went on really slow there.
Right.
So, yes,
different.
yeah,
Time
they,
was
like
different.
you would leave that place and you come back, and like 100 years had gone by for them.
Yeah.
Right. So when they went back there to the settlement's gone. So who knows in that 2 years of how advanced that Altean race became, and then they left.
Well, it's the fact that it showed up after a fight with the Gara randomly at the same time. I thought
Yeah.
it was part of a Gara thing, but also the Gara fight with Voltron was very interesting.
Yeah.
They were beating him up.
Yeah, because Voltron was all weak.
The strategery was
Yeah.
working. But yeah, I was interested in all that stuff going back to Earth and it being fucked up. And anyway, I'm looking forward to season 8. I really
Yeah,
like this
it'll be
Voltron
out-
series.
it'll
I
be
like
out-
this Voltron series like
It'll be out
infinitely
2
more than the
days
last
ago.
one.
It'll be out 2 days ago. At the current rate,
Yeah.
it'll be out.
Do you like it more than Go Lion?
Yes, I do.
Let's go, Lion.
The original Voltron.
You mean in 1984?
I really don't
Voltron?
want. I
Yeah, 84
really don't
Voltron?
want vehicle Voltron in this Voltron. Though. That would make upset.
Well, I think they
Don't you
kind of
want to see
I
it.
they
don't.
kind of
I
no
really don't.
they kind of gave it to us though. They kind of gave us the vehicles. Some of those vehicles.
They were
that
vehicles. They were cool vehicles.
yeah,
yes.
and they kind of gave it to us with the whole garrison force or whatever. I think that's the tip of the hat that we need. And then we kind of got a new giant robot that's not Voltron, but it's Voltron-esque,
And I like
and
those
the Atlas.
fighters. They look like Valkyries, but I thought they were going to transform, but they didn't. Maybe they will later, but they look a
Yeah,
lot like Valkyries.
And we already had the evil Voltron in the last season, and we
Yes.
got this
And
new
then
the new
robot from
yeah,
the
we don't know
season
what
before.
this one is like. The fact that it got huge, like it projected its energy and
it was
got
like
big,
astral projection. It was like
that's
Shadow
fucking-
King
That's
shit.
fucking badass. That was pretty dope. So anyway,
So I like it a lot.
yeah, it's good. It's fun.
Watched Evolution, an old ass movie with David Duchovny and another redheaded chick that isn't Scully.
I don't recall that
You know what I'm
one.
calling it? It's a comedy. Like an asteroid hit Earth and has like single cell organisms.
Oh
and it's
yes.
quickly.
And
And then at the
I
end,
do
like,
recall. And it was and like
Shampoo
part of the
was,
spoof was that it was the fucking David Duchovny.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
redhead. But I enjoyed it. Chris hasn't watched it. Watching old movies.
I've never heard of it.
You might want to watch it. It was funny.
I did make it halfway through Valerian before I fell asleep.
Is it good?
So far, I agree with you
Right.
that the world is fantastic. The world is beautiful. It's
Yeah.
interesting. It's engaging. The actual story, not so much.
Gotcha.
I like the white aliens a lot.
I don't see in color, but whatever.
They're
Are they kind of blue?
like,
They're very pasty,
yeah, the ocean white-ish, palish, bluish things.
almost a light purple
they
at
show-
times. Like,
Yeah.
but I just like that. It just has that. It has that classic sci-fi feel to
Yes.
me, like where the creatures seem like they have life, but at the same time, a lot of it's practical but the performance of the actor comes through, but you can't see the actor in it.
Yeah.
Like, it's really well done.
Yeah, and
that
the world
in
is
that
interesting.
regard.
I want to visit.
Yeah.
I want to see where this goes.
Anytime I see orange and black clouds, I'm like, I dig it.
Watch 30 Days of Night.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's pretty
It's
good.
underrated.
You ever
I
see
don't-
the
I don't
second
like the
version?
ending.
Yeah.
The second one?
I liked it too.
I never saw it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch the second one at some point. There's a miniseries too.
That I never saw.
Okay, me either. But I'm gonna watch the second one's good. 'Cause
I mean, look, it's not fucking Shawshank, you know what I mean? But it's
is it
I enjoyed it as much as the first one.
okay? But it's not like Mortal Kombat to Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I think it's good. I think it's a good movie. Like,
The fact that you recognize that now, Joe, I'm proud of you.
What? I never said Mortal Kombat Annihilation was good.
I know, but you said Mortal Kombat was good.
Mortal Kombat is good.
it is good.
I just rewatched it the other
It's
day
fucking
while
great.
working out with Krista. Now I think she hasn't seen Annihilation. I feel like I have to sit through that with her.
That fight between Scorpion and Sub-Zero in the woods is still fucking on point. Those locations, man, like those fucking woods look fucking sick.
Yep.
You know,
Reptiles fight was the best.
Reptile CGI is super trash.
Liu Kang. I mean not Liu Kang. Shang Tsung.
Liu Kang's hair is out of control.
Dude.
A lot of body in that unit.
90s movie. 90s
Pantene
movie
Pro V.
with a Asian lead actor. I
Yeah.
didn't think about it. That's awesome.
Arguably,
So they had to counterbalance it by making Raiden white guy.
protagonist and antagonist.
Making Raiden a white guy twice. Two different white guys.
Oh yeah, the second movie is also a white guy, but a different one, right?
And one of the few films to this day where one of the villains is forearmed.
Mr. What?
Forearmed. Has 4 arms.
Oh,
For the forearm people.
right.
It's a bonus.
Well, it was a lead Asian antagonist as well.
Yeah,
I
it's-
mentioned that.
So
It's cool.
yeah.
So
So it's been
progressive.
happening.
So
It's been
progressive
happening
of
for
it.
years, Joe. You're just full
And
of
a, and a
shit.
strong female in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, very strong. Broke
Strong
somebody's
chin
neck.
on that unit.
Broke somebody's neck.
Which one?
Sonya Blade.
Oh yeah.
Strong chin line on
Is
that
that a
unit.
strong chin?
Oh, yeah.
I thought Katana has a stronger chin. She was pretty hot too.
Katana, I think, has a more poignant chin. She's beautiful, though, Katana. Like,
Which-
she's
which one?
gorgeous.
You got to pick one.
Between those two?
Yeah.
Katana all day long.
Yeah. Dude, what are you talking about, bro?
Okay.
You not so much?
I would. I have a heart. I wouldn't have answered so quickly.
Full of self-hate.
Doesn't like ethnic
Katana's
women.
not Asian. In
He
that
wants a
movie.
white girl.
She's not.
She was some kind of Spanish, I think.
You sound like Ali G when he was going with the Philadelphia Police Department. It's like, we've got one brother, one honky, and one sort of Spanish.
No, I had a big crush on Bridget Nielsen when I was younger.
What
She was in
about-
Billy Madison.
Can you be a honky, still be hung like a donkey?
Are you looking it up, Adam?
I'm looking it up right now.
Shout out to Honky Kong.
Dude, that movie came out in 1995. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. That's
Dude.
23 years ago.
So old, man.
And soft.
And trash.
While he's looking it up, I also watched The Order under your guys' recommendation. Premise interesting
The Order.
with Heath Ledger.
She is.
I didn't see it.
She is Puerto
I've
Rican.
never seen it.
Katana's Puerto Rican.
Well, that makes sense. I'm attracted to Spanish women. That's a fact.
Well, me too. I'm just saying, like, why would you think she was Asian? You just don't. Well, you don't see in color, obviously.
Maybe I just see to the character.
Is Katana supposed to be Asian?
I think so.
Scorpion and Sub-Zero
bit
are
of
definitely
a-
white guys.
Oh
in the
shit!
movie.
Do you know that she came back as what's her face in the second movie? No, she did. Never mind. Disregard.
The Order. Well, maybe Phil.
Yeah, Adam was talking about Adam and Phil, I think.
Yeah, the premise was real interesting, but the movie was kind of slow.
Oh, you did watch that?
I did watch it.
Oh,
But it was when I talked about priests, about battle popes, and you're like, oh, you guys should watch The Order.
Battle Popes.
You didn't like it?
I know I liked it, but it wasn't. what I
Heath
was
Ledger, right?
expecting.
Didn't like it.
Didn't like it. Little pitchy. Dude, my kids make me play that like every few weeks.
Kids love that shit.
I know. I have it downloaded on my phone, like the song, the
Yeah,
full
me too.
song. Continue, Joe.
I have them all.
Pacific Rim 2, I loved it.
Oh God, Joe.
Did you watch it?
I can't be bothered.
No, I'm not watching that.
Well,
Is-
then,
well,
then
here-
don't.
No, because the
you like
first no,
Voltron.
was it any better than the first one, Joe?
For me, as just a visually anime person, yes.
Did it have Idris in it?
No.
Oh, yeah, then it
Well,
can't
it
be.
has-
Then it can't be good.
Boy,
Then it
yeah.
can't be good.
Did so you think that the second one is better than the first?
As
Because
a-
you would be the first
as
person.
a-
No, you think that the second film is better than the first?
If I had to watch one, I would watch the second one.
Do you think the second film is better than the first? I talked to my wife.
Under what?
Scale them on, score them on a scale from 1 to 10.
I'd rather watch the second one. I guess I'll make it better. I guess that makes it better.
Not necessarily, because I would rather watch episode 3 than episode 5 or 8. But I think 5 and 8 are both better than 3. But 3 is more fun to watch because it's just light swords and spiral flips.
And doth plagueist the wise.
He's so wise. You need to stop the wise from wising while they're all being wise.
Too big.
Yeah, get it.
The problem is,
I don't use that as a hype track, like right before the guy starts rapping.
Get it.
you can't understand anything from the second one if you didn't watch the first one. It's not. It can't be standalone. But it checked all my boxes, and then some.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That first one is so bad to me.
It had giant monsters. It has more robots, more anime robots. It had bad guy robots, alien robots.
This is how now I haven't
monster robots.
I've never seen John Wick, but this is how I feel when I talk to John Wick fans, and I'm like, I'm not sure if I would be wasting my time watching that movie. And they're like,
"What? First one or second one?"
Yes.
Okay.
And they're like, dude, do you like shootouts and karate kicks? I'm like, not really.
Then no.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like I'm okay with shootouts and karate kicks as long as the heart of that story strikes a nerve with me, you know. But and then the shootouts and karate kicks just make a fun like cherry on top of the icing. But I need that fucking cake, Mac.
You never want to watch something just to watch karate kicks and
No.
shooting guns? I do, I guess. I mean, I want stories sometimes also, but like I want different things.
I need to, if it's a story that I'm not going to be engaged in the mind, body, and soul of it, for lack of a better term, I'd rather have it be a documentary that I can have playing in the background that I can listen to and kind of pick up the information from.
I mean, I'm so like visually that's like entertained by it that like I don't even think about anything else because I'm just watching it.
Yeah, I need a balance. I understand your perspective, but I need a balance. What are you doing? What are you doing?
check it on.
What are you doing?
There's some kind of
Showtime.
no, there's some kind of outbreak at JFK.
Uh-huh.
They've like quarantined some plane from the Middle East. Something's going on. Welcome to the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah,
It's gonna happen.
maybe.
Zombies or anthrax, one or the other.
Oh,
It's fine.
Very safe. One last thing I watched was Ender's Game. Loved
Ender's
it.
Game.
I've never seen that.
I don't know why because I love sci-fi.
Yeah.
And I didn't go into it expecting too much. But
Harrison Ford's in it, right?
Yeah, I loved it. I was on the.
What's he like? Get off my spaceship. I don't know why they came like Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, a little bit.
Or Christian Slater. Or a mix of both.
remember they said Christian Slater was Jack Nicholson's son? It was like the '80s rumor.
Yes.
Dude, it made sense.
I know,
sense.
I know,
It
I
made
know.
sense.
Dude, I know we talk about it all the time. I miss that era. Where there's, like,
Yeah,
magic in the
bullshit.
world.
Yeah. 3 gallons of cum and
Then-
Little Kim's stomach, Manson having a rib removed.
Yeah.
You know.
Then 90% of the population would think the Earth is flat right now.
Yeah. Manson.
No, actually, no, because. Oh, never mind.
Manson being the kid from Wonder Years. Remember that was like one of the.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you know, like I miss that time where you could have like these wild elaborate
Bullshit. We just make stuff up now. It's fine. That's what we bring you people.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I recommend you guys watch it. Like I was,
Pacific Rim 2?
no,
Oh, okay. God, thank you.
I wouldn't recommend you to watch it in the first place. I know you better than that. But Ender's Game, I was at the edge of my seat the entire time.
Oh,
like
wow.
it grabbed me from the
Really?
beginning. It didn't let me go to the very end. But I want
Where
you to watch
did
it.
it
and let me know what
grab
think.
you, though, Joe?
Where did
Where
you see
did
it?
it grab you?
At home.
Joe, I'm going to get up from this table. I'm quitting. If you don't start cooperating today. You're being difficult. Why are you being so difficult? on what platform did you watch it?
Computer. I watch everything on the computer.
Okay, so it's not like on Netflix streaming or anything that you know of or anything like that.
I have to find out.
Okay, you don't know. That's fine. That's fine.
I don't remember.
I'm
I don't recall.
got it.
Sorry. I'll send you the link.
All is forgiven. No, I'm not going to
I
do
want
it.
to watch it. I want you to watch it.
I'll watch it. I want to watch it. Who's in it again?
Some
Some
little
kid who's good. He's the main character, but he's good.
I often tell this story, but the older I get, the more I wish I could have the chance to apologize to Mario for having an argument with him, where I now feel like I was dead ass wrong.
Which one's that?
We had an argument about what's more important to a film, the cast or the story. And honestly, now I think it's a mix. And when he said cast, he meant cast in the sense of big names, like not necessarily that it could be a talented cast,
right.
but just that
Just
you know,
A-list actor.
yeah, it's better to have Tom Cruise than Tom Snooze. Do you know what I'm saying?
You and your fucking fish story. Fuck you. I thought it was going to go somewhere. I was like, and then what happened?
I know.
I was super intrigued.
When I saw that you had seen the initial thing like almost immediately and hadn't responded yet, I was like, oh, he cares. I'm gonna let him sit with this for a minute. I was at Bonefish. That's how I came up with it.
Because you went on a fucking camping trip, so I thought you learned something on your fucking camping trip. You're gonna teach me.
So good. You're a nerd week. How's the deck coming?
It's coming well. Coming well. Beardy Keith was working on the uprights spindles, making them close together so your baby doesn't fall through this time.
Did he bring anybody to help?
No. He's not allowed to bring any
I
friends.
thought he might have had a rude uninvited guest. Like, I give him a hand, swinging a hammer. You know what I mean?
I've been going down there and helping him every once in a while.
Good for you.
I'll hang
I'm
on
really
to
good
the
at
board.
taking nails out of boards. Really good at it.
Have you seen these new hammers that they're making with the nail in them?
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
What?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you can like load the hammer, bang the nail in to get it started, and you can drive her home.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I
Fly
like
her
that.
home though?
Hmm?
Can you fly her home too?
I think you can also drive her them.
Hmm.
Drive them and drive her them.
Trying to think. So I've been watching this Netflix show. A few. I watched this one animated, Paradise PD. It's on Netflix. It's like F is for Family, same type of anime style. The
Okay.
Bill
Oh, yeah,
Burr
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
But it's about this. It's on the South Park level of raunchiness, but like they can actually show tits and dicks and shit like that and assholes, which they've done a lot. But it's about this guy. His dad was a cop, and he always wanted to grow up and be a cop. And one day, when he's a little boy, his dad like leaves his gun out, and his dad's like having sex, and he comes in with the gun, like, "Look, Dad, I got your gun." He's like, "Kevin, don't use that." And he shoots his dad's balls off.
Oh my god.
So his dad ends up like having to wear testosterone patches, right?
What is it called?
Paradise PD,
And what is it on?
Netflix.
I'm gonna have to give it a shot. Is it good? You recommend it?
I'm only 2 episodes in, but the drug dog talks, so it's kind of like South Park, but he's addicted to drugs.
Having a good sniff, is he?
And there's like this really hot chick that's part of it, and she sexually harasses the fat guy who's like kind of gay. And he's like, "No, Becky, you can't do this. I have a restraining order from you to grab my nipples." Or it's like, "What about a foghorn?" She grabs his dick and like, wah, wah. He's like, "You can't do that either." And like they're fighting like the local meth guy. And there's at the first episode, the meth guy, there's a twist to it. So there's like it's more than just like the hijinks. It's like gonna be some kind of story arc in it. So I'm like 2 or 3 episodes in. It's pretty funny. It's enjoyable. It's just that raunchy humor that every once in a while, tickles your fancy.
Always tickles Bobby's.
So I'm also watching this show called Magic with Humans, and it's this magician who goes around like.
Oh, I've heard about this.
It's really good.
I've heard about
What is
this
it
from
about?
Chucky O. Shout out to Chucky
Yeah,
O.
it's called Magic for Humans, and this magician just kind of goes around and does magic tricks in front of people. But like it's all about like connecting with people and talking with people.
He's like the new, not to say that the tricks are the same because they sound to be vastly different, but it's like the new David Blaine type of like, and he does a lot of like psychology reading and
Yep.
face reading and stuff in order
Yep.
to.
And like this one he does, like you ever heard the marshmallow experiment? It's a way to tell like supposedly intellect in children. So you give us hey, you can have this marshmallow now, or you can wait for 5 minutes and have 2. And like most kids eat it, but the kids who wait for 5 minutes to get 2, they're usually more intelligent, so they can reason through it.
Oh, it's kind of like how you look at your fingernails.
I told you about that, right? I told you about
Yeah. I love how it was like one of the first things you thought about in the morning.
that? Yeah. It was. No, my dad happened to call me that morning. I was on for a walk. It's like, hey, why I got you on the phone?
I love that. That
Look
to
at your-
me
look
makes
at
the
your hand.
whole. I don't want to give away.
Look
I
at-
don't want to give away too
Oh,
much
yeah,
of the
that's the
Patreon.
Patreon.
Yeah,
I don't want to give away
yeah,
too,
yeah.
but I love how it's still in that
Yeah.
mind of yours, kicking around. Like that for me is the win. Like when I saw it, I was like, yes. I showed Laura.
Who's laughing now? Anyway, so he does some really cool things with people's phones, and that's the best thing. Like he'll like, hey, I'm going for fishing for phones, and he'll have like a mason jar, like a moonshine jar. So it's a big wide bottle with a narrow opening, and he'll throw it into the river. Like, all right, hold this line. He's like, let me see your phone real quick, and he throws a phone in there, and they're like. People's faces do
Right,
the prices,
right.
and he's like, "All right, I think I got it." And he pulls it back out. He's like, "Now call your friend's phone so I can hear it." And he pulls out the jar, and their phone is in the fucking masonry jar or the moonshine jar. And the funny bit there, like this is classic bit. He's like, "So listen, so what you have here is an heirloom that you can pass down to your kids that says, and I met this magician, and he put my phone in this jar, and you know, you can pass it down generations or whatever, or I can break it. And she's looking at him, and the next thing he's got like a plastic bag over there. He's breaking it open to get her phone out. You know, of course, you know. I think I would have kept it. I think I would have got a new phone.
I don't know.
Everything's on the cloud, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that. My guy Scotty, I've worked with for 11 years. Since year one, day one. If you mark that point and go forward about 5.5 months, every 5.5 months for 11 years, we have this moment where like we'll just be sitting down with one another, and he'll say, "What do you think about these guys do close-up magic?" And he just recently brought this dude up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I mean, I've lived through all of the magician eras from this very same conversation.
Yeah. So the funny bit about it, did you listen to Joe Rogan with that mentalist guy?
Do you watch it?
I didn't watch it.
Yeah,
I didn't watch it.
I watch all my podcasts on YouTube. So you actually get to see him do the shit.
Yeah. So I want to watch, but one
awesome.
thing that's interesting, man, like
Banish
if
it.
there was really magic for real and real psychic powers for real, like I think if I had psychic powers or magical powers, I would not tell anybody. I would just tell people they were tricks. Like that's how I would hide
just
it.
use it.
And use
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And use my powers.
Absolutely.
You know?
So this guy felt like-
Otherwise, you're gonna end up on a fucking table somewhere.
Or you know, people are gonna lock you up or fucking kill you.
That's what
You know
I'm
what I
saying.
mean?
Right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah. You know, one would argue. Whatever. It might be a good table.
No, they're gonna cut you open.
Yeah, no, it's not nice.
Yeah.
Not nice. So I'm like, look at this guy. Maybe this shit real, man.
Dude,
This is what Scotty said, man. He'll be like, look, man, you pick my card is one thing. You start bringing it out of my armpit. I'm like, what's going on?
And like that, that fucking David Blaine. He'll like cut himself open, like pull it out of his skin and shit.
yeah, Banish
crazy.
guy did it right in front of Joe and Jamie, and they couldn't fucking
I
figure
mean,
it out.
wasn't Joe holding it
Yeah,
and like he did it?
yeah.
I might have to pull that shit up.
And then he would do one, and he'd give the nail.
Do you
or the
think
spoon to Joe?
any of them are dealing with the dark arts?
Maybe.
dark cards?
I mean, you know what, man?
Dude, I said that one time, like old Savage Mill down near
Yeah,
where we
yeah,
grew
yeah,
up.
yeah.
They used to have a little magic shop in there.
Okay.
And so I went in there one time, and I went in there with like a bunch of buddies, and they were, you know, the magicians show you some tricks, try to get you to buy some shit, et cetera,
Yeah.
et cetera. And like they did some old cheesy ass trick. I don't know how it was done. You know, I buy the book and buy out, but it wasn't anything spectacular. It was one of those things where you see it and you're like, fuck, it probably was in his sleeve or whatever. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
And like, so it was a African American lady that did the trick, right? And she did it, and like everybody was clapping, I was clapping, you know, laughing, having a good time. And I was like, "How long have you been practicing the dark arts?" And like everybody looked at me like, "Dude," and I'm like, "Motherfucker, I'm not talking about race, you dumbass." You know, dark arts. And I said it like that, like right, and then like it made a big deal. They had to get me out of there.
Oh, really?
Why?
Just because people are so uptight. I'm
Oh,
like,
so
this
your magic. Whoa. Your mutant power failed in the den of magic.
well, no. I mean, she knew where I was coming from. It was just them.
I
But,
hear
like,
you.
It was just that like I was like that shit was so far from my mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I when they were looking at me crazy, I was like, what the fuck is the problem? Like it's a joke because obviously it's not the dark arts. It was just 3 little peanut shells. It was one of the little balls was underneath one of them. You had to, you know, whatever.
So sensitive, and this was a long time ago.
Oh yeah. We were kids.
You're sensitive now.
Wait, what? Wow, reason to me.
So it's pretty good. I got it, but like one thing, like he starts talking about how Santa Claus is fake, and the kids are watching with me, and like I knew
Oh.
he didn't do it.
Okay.
Like, and my parents told me, and I could just be like, boop, I don't think watch this right now.
Right,
I just changed
right.
it, but I could like feel it coming. Then I went back and like skipped through it and like watched it again. So that's pretty good. Fucking The Good Place season 2 is out on Netflix, and I thought it got canceled. So The Good Place is with Ted Danson, Kristen Bell, and some other motherfuckers.
About some shithole bar.
No. So people die, they go to The Good Place,
Oh,
right?
I thought it was ironic.
Oh, that's the one where like one of them
But it's
got
not
through
real-
accidentally, and he was not a
Yeah,
good person.
and so Kristen Bell, but you find out after in the season 1 that it's not The Good Place. It's actually The Bad Place. And
Spoiler alert, much?
it's fine. Season 2. If season 2's on Netflix, you can go fuck yourself. And so the whole plan was for these 4 humans to actually like torture each other because 2 of them think that they're not supposed to be there and the other 2 are trying to hide it, and
Okay.
like so
That's interesting.
it is interesting. And then it ended. I was like, oh man, that's a really cool show. And dude, season 2, like they take it out of a whole new door, and it's really fucking good, man. Like I've been wanting to. It's been binge worthy.
How many episodes?
And
You
it's
watched all of it already?
no, I haven't. I got like 2 more episodes done. Like I've having a little.
So
agitated.
everybody watch now before he finishes and spoil everything for you.
It's fine. It's fine. So I mean, it's. I want to go back and watch the first season again. It's pretty fun. So, but I've been watching that. I got the Peyton bug here recently. And
Yeah, we played a game too.
yeah, I wasn't get that, Joe. Don't jump. Don't spoil my week for me, man.
Well, it was part of my
Don't
week,
pull
too.
at me. Don't pull at me. Yeah. So, dude, I do need to tell this one story. Should I tell the story?
Well, can you omit names?
No, I shouldn't. I shouldn't tell the story.
I shouldn't say the name, but
So
this guy.
smeared beef.
It's got nothing to do with my friends.
Okay. Young, smart, but Chris.
No. He's one of my friends. I'll tell you guys off air. I'm not gonna talk about it. I don't want to hurt anybody's fucking sensitive ass feelings.
Well, they might not even listen. And if they do, they already know who you're talking about. They go, "Oh,
No. They wouldn't. Anyway, but I got a lot of painting done. I've been, I find out that like, and this isn't targeted at you, Joe, but it is targeted at you, Joe.
It's always targeted.
When I paint black models for too long, it does kill me. No.
You can't deal with.
No. What it is that
Black
I
too
can't
much.
be doing any one thing. Like I gotta do a little building of like troops, and then I gotta do a little terrain building, and then I gotta do a little painting of troops. I gotta do a little terrain painting, and then I gotta do like a little variety of painting. Like I do need to rebalance the hobby, and then I gotta do a little game playing.
Variety.
Yeah,
Spice of
so
life.
it is a spice of life, and I think that if I balance that well, I can be more productive. But just going downstairs and knocking out like one dude a day,
Yeah.
like going to this like, all right, let me just do this one coat or whatever, and go to the next thing. It's funny, dude, because Alex moved in, and Alex has been great, but the hobby area has got condensed, and we had so much shit in there, it was like fucking drive me crazy. Like my office space where I work is very neat and very well organized. And like if you open up my little overhead little cubby in my office, and I have all my little books in there, and I have like shit that I'm working on, a little fucking file organizer, and I go in there every morning and wipe down my screen and dust my fucking phone and my keyboard and my mouse, and just
That's exactly how I imagine you do stuff.
yeah. I mean it's clean.
I wouldn't say I'd been missing it, Bob.
But like
Speaking of office space.
But like, when you go home, I don't mind, if I got if I have some sweats that I'm wearing around the house, I could fold them up, throw them on the dresser and wear them again the next day, and it'd be fine. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't even really matter. It doesn't really matter that much if the kids are a little messy. If it gets, once it gets
Dirty and
there-
messy is not the same thing. It's
there
not
gets,
dirty.
yes,
That's
yes,
true.
yes. Yes. There gets to be a point with the clutter though. I'm like, cancel Christmas. We are not fucking doing another thing until your rooms are made, everything's picked up, and your bed's made.
Yeah, reach a breaking point.
Yeah. And like, do you make your bed every day?
No.
Fuck no.
Really?
I just throw the cover over the bed.
No, we have a soft rule in place that the last one out of bed is supposed to make it. But it always ends up being me, and I'm like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I don't see the fucking point.
Yeah, I mean, I see the
There-
point,
I
but
mean, I cover it so that dust and shit doesn't get on the mattress, and then my after cats, I don't fur doesn't get in the mattress.
I'll tell you, I didn't see the point until somebody articulated how good it is for you to make your bed
That's bullshit.
psychologically speaking. And I'm like, God damn, he's got a fucking point.
It's still because you like that guy. I know.
I didn't even. No, it's not him. It wasn't Jordan Peterson. Thank you very much. It was this fucking Navy admiral that was making some statement
Yeah,
at like,
he made a speech about that.
yeah, and like somebody just dropped it on me. This is years ago when he made it. I was like, damn, I'll make my fucking bed.
I used to make my bed.
From,
I have to make my bed all the time.
I hear you. And somebody
So
had
I
to
know
get
that
somebody had to
there's
get the
no
dollar bill
difference.
out and fucking do whatever. Yeah, but you're an outlier, Joe. You're not normal, you know,
you're right.
and you're never gonna know the joy of parenthood. So
I-
you don't even count.
vicariously
We don't
through
and we
you
don't have to
guys.
worry about
Also
you
body
or your
specifically.
genes are trying to express this concept to any.
The world's missing out.
Yeah,
Sorry
you
for
want to
I'm
be
sorry for your children. For
you
not
want to be part of
putting
the
my
finger
genes in the
snap.
world.
You want to be part of the finger snap.
Yeah, I do, dude. Trust me. If
I,
I had a
um,
choice, I would choose to be gone.
Yeah, there's shit that
Oblivion.
I think like there's a every house has its hierarchy of priority,
Yeah,
you know, and like my bedroom in general
yeah,
is very low on the list,
Yeah.
only because it's where I spend the least amount of time,
yeah.
you know. So like, and you know, the kids staying on top of the fucking kids. It's like,
And I'm not saying there's not days that my bed goes unmade
Mm.
because there obviously is, but there is something to be said. Like the first thing you do when you get up is you complete a task,
Yeah, brush my
And
teeth,
the last-
wash my face, take a shower.
and the
It's
last
great.
thing that you do when you get ready to go to bed is see the efforts of a task completed. And I think it's good medicine.
I mean, I don't think it's bad.
I mean,
Do you make the bed?
Yeah, if I'm the last one out, I make the bed.
Well, when is that?
I don't know, on the weekends or days I have off.
I
mean,
it seems very rare that you would be in that
I-
position.
no, I made the bed for 9 years because my wife and I slept at different times.
But I mean, nowadays, I mean, it's for
Yeah, but I've only been on the schedule for 4 months. You know,
it seems a lot longer than that.
yeah, it's only been 4 months.
Yeah,
and
it's
before that, like I'd get up and go take a shower, and Pam would go downstairs to start breakfast. And when I came back, I'd make the bed out of the shower. If she didn't do it,
I think like a lot of things like religion and stuff like that. It's good for a lot of people, and they need it, or
Yeah.
like, psychologically it helps them. But for some people, like they're fine.
yeah. Well, you know,
Sometimes I find and I totally get coming in and seeing a nice made bed is nice, but sometimes I find like a fucked up bed welcoming.
You're
Like
comfort.
because
I mean,
it
just dive
seems
into
it seems like it's like the difference between like the fresh chair out of the factory and then that old leather chair where the
broken
leather's
in.
super worn in. You know, it's that sort of a thing. But I appreciate a well dressed bed as well.
And what the fuck is up with your people's like extra pillows that you put on the bed? But
Throw pillows are fucking trash.
okay, so it's not
yeah,
your
I don't
pillow
have.
then.
We
actually,
have
do
them.
a throw pillow. We have
I
one.
Well, you don't use them obviously because you don't make the bed.
Fucking hate them. And you know what I use them for? The space between my mattress and my headboard has a significant gap where my
yeah.
pillows tend to fall down in and wake me up in the middle of the night. So I stuff that area with those goddamn throw
They do
pillows
serve a purpose.
to prevent the
Pillow collapse.
pillow collapse.
Yeah.
That's
But
fine.
so is that? I mean, normally they don't have a point though, right? They're just for decorative purpose for nobody to
decorative.
look at.
Yeah, they're
I've got a
decorative.
padded headboard, so I don't need that.
I have that as well.
Really, you had that much big of a gap?
It's huge. It's significant. But you know, my bed
A huge old gap.
is ridiculous. I was about to use another word, but it's enormous. You know, and
The
like
frame is enormous.
yeah, and I cut 2 of the posts off of it. It had 4. You remember it had 4
Oh, yeah,
columns
yeah,
with the fucking
yeah.
rails across the top,
Oh,
like a
fancy,
goddamn
fancy.
Egyptian princess lived in it. I
Yeah,
cut.
didn't you
2
guys have? Wasn't like a little sash or something that went around and they kind of dipped down?
Princess
No, you
bed.
could do that, but it didn't come standard.
Oh, did you
That's
guys-
what the bars are for. You know what the bars ended up doing? Hanging clothes like a goddamn coat hanger. I was
Oh,
like,
that's the worst.
this is all getting
That's
out of
the
here.
worst.
So I felt like I was sleeping in a cage. So I cut the fucking, and it's still raw
This
as
is really
fuck.
Bobby psychology right here.
I cut the 2 fucking bottom posts off, so I only had the top 2 posts, and the bottom post gone. The frame, the metal frame around the top gone. All that shit is gone.
Bro, the posts are so you can handcuff the arms and the legs.
No. And that was an allure of it. Now this is a true story. I can show it on Patreon. I have chains and restraints on all 4 posts. If
Sweet.
should duty call. But it's
Dude,
even that is but it's everything is ready to be put in service.
Bobby, you know I love you, right? This just made me love you just that much more.
I mean, it's
Are
a
they
fact.
are they fuzzy cuffs?
No.
No pads?
No,
You
no,
want that,
no.
You want that metal to roll.
If it don't hurt, it don't work.
So do you use them equally? Like, do you get chained up equally?
No.
Really?
No. This is a Patreon conversation.
Is it?
Yeah.
we can talk about it at the next.
Yeah,
Let's get,
yeah.
let's get
This is a
together.
Patreon conversation,
When you
but
guys
no, it's not 50-50.
get y'all drunk.
Is it 70-30?
I'd say it's 90-10.
Okay.
90-10, me being restrained,
Oh, you're saying 90% of the time?
mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
and it's not my bag.
To be restrained?
It doesn't really do much for me. It's not my.
Yeah.
Not my bad.
Well, you'd like to just lay there anyway.
That is a fact. And not just at sex, Joe. In general. I wish I could lay down doing this goddamn podcast.
Oh man.
I get rid of this fucking table. Couches are going in.
You know what I thought? I swear to you, I was coming down here today. I was like, can we move this shit to the Lazy Boys, please? For the
You know
love
what's
of
funny?
God. For the love of God.
My initial intention was to have 2 lazy boys in here with a center table between the two.
Let's do it.
So it could be like a library
Fuck
for
this
reading
You
and
can just
stuff.
sit on the floor. It's
Yeah,
fine.
and Joe can sit on the floor.
The problem is that the purpose of this room has
Like
evolved.
his people.
Dude, I did a Bane thing for a sit down Saturday recently and got no love. For it.
Really? I think it's too
Yeah.
old now. It's out of the
Man,
the,
it hurt.
the zeitgeist.
I forget what I was. I think I was like. I think I even said I was like, because I do. I'm talking, you know. And I was like, look, I'm doing it for you. And then it just cut immediately to the mask on me, and I was like, for the people. And then it cut right back. But like, the function of this room has changed so much that now having 2 lazy boys, like, I know Joe likes to sit on the floor, so that's fine,
Yeah.
and I could deal with that, no
Yeah.
problem. But the idea of having because now it's not uncommon to have 5 or 6 people in here recording something,
Yeah.
Dude,
and like
card table.
to have 2 of us sitting at a fucking thing while everybody else sits on the floor in front of us. Don't do that.
Story time.
But at that point, we just move it into the other room.
It's
I mean, I
not shit
used
move.
to. When we used
Yeah.
to do it out there in the TV room and you had the TV there, I used to sit on the floor.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know. I know.
yeah.
I know. But you know, when I imagined doing it with 2 lazy boys here, like Nerd Rage was always in my mind going to be the 2 of us, and then Nerd Rage has changed. It's
Now
it's
it's like
become something
8 of
different.
us.
Yeah. So I'm good with it. I would like to find. I mean, this table is a little bit big in here, but
God damn it.
what's going on? Just leave
Sorry.
the phone on. We may be in a phone rule for the.
Just get one of those bags.
Been a little distracting.
One of the
A little
bags that
distracting.
gets locked up.
That'd be all right.
One of those.
If somebody texts you, check your phone.
That's not true. That's not
Okay.
true.
All right.
I wish I didn't have to use it for the notes. I'd get rid of it altogether for this.
Print them out.
I wish I had a printer.
You don't have a printer?
I don't have a
I
printer
gave
that
you a
works.
printer. Fuck.
I'm surprised when you have a printer.
Then you got to give me
Oh,
ink
very
every
well.
so often.
Put you on one of those plans. Amazon will mail it to you every 3 months.
Yeah, I should.
And then you get extra inks that you don't need, and you just start piling them up. It's not
Yeah.
good.
No, you can alter.
Do you want
It
to?
just sounds like a lot of work right now.
You can get a button from Amazon. Have you seen those button things?
The easy button.
Yeah. You know what it does? So every time you need something, you get low, you hit the button, and it sends to your Wi-Fi a request for that item, right? And then Amazon starts calculating how often you hit the button, and you can't double hit it. Like if you double hit it, it's like, no, we're sending you one. We know that somebody's hitting your button a bunch of times, so to speak.
So everyone's going to.
It gets to the point where it knows where you're going to need one, so it starts delivering one before you press the button.
Makes perfect sense. We're
I love
robots anyway.
Love
do
it.
shit.
Lost it.
Yeah, I lost.
I was thinking there's anything else in my nerd week.
The fucking game.
Oh yeah. So Joe and I.
So every time I needed to roll high, I roll literally snake eyes. Like I rolled 3 ones at one point, and every time I needed to roll low, under leadership, I would roll 6s and 5s every
dude.
fucking time for the whole game.
So
He would make ridiculous saves. He was like, "Yeah, you normally can't save from this except if you make this one ridiculous roll," and he would fucking roll that 5 out of 6 times.
that happened once, but but the thing about it is though, Joe, like that did happen. That is accurate. But like, here's the thing, right? So we're playing this game, and we both are keeping people off the board to be able to spring them up and do some good shit, right? So I go first. I'm able to get my spring up guys, and they go exactly where I need them to be, and it puts Joe in a little predicament. He's like, "Oh fuck, I gotta backtrack for this, right?" Then I do pretty well, and I shoot some of his guys. I do a leadership test, as you probably remember. A leadership test.
Yes.
You roll 2 dice, and you need to roll the leadership or under. Well, Joe's leadership is 10, so there's only 4 combinations of those dice that will make him
Right.
run.
Got it.
Right? He rolls at one of those,
I roll 11.
you know.
On
So
dice.
so then he like, so I'm like, that almost never happens, Joe. I mean, it does happen sometimes, of course. That's how the game is
It
made. But
happened to me
it's,
3 times in this game.
it did 3 times. 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, and normally it's like,
I'm getting anxious thinking about it.
yeah.
Like
And
you
so-
guys, the first dice roll you guys had on the game.
Oh yeah, it was a
Yeah,
1.
yeah.
I rolled a 1 straight out. Yeah,
Yep.
immediately.
I
I wouldn't have it any other way.
So
Adam?
then I like, we both had these tanks that are usually impossible to kill, right? Very rare. And so I hit him with this gun.
First turn.
So I hit him with this gun that is very so on rolling 3 dice at the same time. I got to roll 15 or higher, right? Like adding all the dice rolls up. So like 2 6s and a 3, right? So I have
It's relatively high.
able to roll 3 to 18, you know? So, you know, the average probably 12, maybe 10. I roll like a 16, right? I'm like, huh, that never happens to me because I use this gun all the time. It's very anti-troop, but it's never gets anything. Like I was like, oh, that's pretty
Turn
cool.
one of my tanks sitting in my deployment zone.
So the worst thing for this tank to do is actually just become immobilized. And I immobilize it. So it can't move. It can't really do anything else, right? So I'm like, oh, dude, I was like, that really sucks for you, dude. That's carrying his big boss man, right? So his big boss man jumps out, and he's like 7 inches from this thing he wants to assault, right? And this guy can roll the 2 dice, and then he can re-roll the 2 dice. What's up, man?
Maryland Phil is here.
So his first roll, snake eyes.
Yep.
I was like, dude, sorry, he's fleet. You'll
You get to
roll
reroll.
better.
I get to reroll.
Second time he rolls, 2 2s. And I'm like, huh, that sucks, Joe. Sorry about that. And at this point, I'm starting to I'm like, God damn it, Joe is never going to play another game with me. So this is my turn. And I just take a shot. Well, I'm going to shoot you with these 2 guns. You'll be all right. No big deal, mate. You'll be all right. You'll be for this.
Have a bit of that.
How about that?
Easy save for me. It should
Easy
I
save.
Just deflect that shit.
He just need to roll 3 2s. Guess what he rolled, Bobby?
3 2s.
3 1s.
3 1.
3 2 or ups. And
Yeah.
roll 3 1s.
Yeah, like motherfucker, he has broken the Yahtzee card at this point with the amount of ones. Ooh, I
This is the final one. Can you hear me? Yeah, it's the last one that I have. This is it.
You better start buying them.
There will be repeats after this,
like
I'm
that,
afraid.
man. I like you got a little Ranger fold in that action too. I'm digging it, man. I might have to help you out with
He
that.
needs the Amazon button. Every time he comes, he needs
Yeah,
that
a new
button.
hat.
God, oh my God.
So at this point, I'm like, oh man.
How
So
far are you guys into the show? Did you start right
hour
at
and
2?
12 minutes.
We're cleaning up nerve.
Okay,
nerve
okay,
weeks.
okay.
So I'm like, all right. So I throw my guys at him. Right, there's like 4 guys left because you actually ate those guys up. There was only like 2 of the Terminators, the Priest, and like my big HQ. But my big HQ would have been smoked usually by his Primarch. So we get into combat, and Joe's guy is like super good. He goes first. He gets a bunch more attacks than me.
Didn't fucking win a goddamn thing.
Yeah, so he gets like
7
he gets like
attacks.
10 attacks or whatever, and like that. It was more than 10, dude, because it was
Oh yeah, because first turn.
yeah. You had
But I
6.
didn't fucking do a dick.
Didn't do anything. I think you killed 1 dude, didn't you? You killed 1 dude.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, insignificant.
Yeah,
Insignificant.
and then my
What was I
guy
supposed
came.
to do?
My guy came through and just like the first chump came in there and like took the rest of his wounds out. Like,
Just
yeah, dude,
first
just you just need to roll 2s, like 3 more 1s, like a couple 1s and a 2. It was bad. I'm like,
that was the whole fucking game.
yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But did
How
you
long
have
you
fun
been practicing the dark arts?
for a long time?
Because this is not the first time dice rolls have just
Dude,
mysteriously worked your way in against.
You know what
your
I think?
opponent.
You know what I honestly think it is? I think it's that room. I think when I play
That's where you practice the dark arts.
the Space Wolf shrine that I have built surrounds me with Space Wolf energy, and then just do very well.
The dark arts where you're
It's,
facing the chaos
maybe
gods.
I think I will those.
Adam
dice to roll
blinks a
some way.
certain way, and the
Yeah.
dice just fall
Yeah, I think
one
that's what it
extra
is.
time.
So I mean, you
Shoot
were
the
using
video.
my dice, and actually those blue and yellow ones, they're using my lucky dice. Using my lucky dice. So and it's funny. Maybe
Maybe it is the power of Dopus.
maybe.
But no, I did have fun though, and honestly,
It was
I loved
it was fun. And the funny thing is, it wasn't a huge slaughter of like.
Well, technically, points wise, it
point-wise,
wasn't. But
yeah,
on the table,
yeah.
I had like
But you see what I'm
5 dudes
saying
left.
about 30K? How if I wasn't paying attention to the objective, like if I didn't kill Fulgrim, you would have won.
yeah, points wise.
Yeah.
But,
So
like,
if you just
most of my
like
dudes were dead.
yeah. But if you just stayed in that tank,
Yeah.
you'd have won. You know, but you jumped out like a gangster.
Was just sitting in
You jumped out like a
fucking tank
gangster.
all fucking game.
You jumped out like a gangster and thought you were gonna bring it, and you ended up like tripping and like falling on your sword. literally.
It's been brought in.
Yeah. So that was pretty fun. And the other thing, man, I'm trying to get. Hey, did you want to come to a rock climbing gym with me? Why not? Give it a
Trying
whirl.
to get everyone to go rock
I
climbing
don't
with
care
me, man.
to.
It's really fun, dude.
You want to come to a fucking where they stick the sticks under your cuticles?
I mean,
Yeah, acupuncture.
is it really fun?
No, not acupuncture. That's
Bamboo torture.
Bamboo torture.
Yeah,
Whoa.
but that's like, I mean, it's like torture. Like it's a bouldering gym, so there's no harness.
I just don't,
For your
I'm
rock
just not interested.
Did Robert D get you to hike? I know you probably covered your whole trip, but
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's some psychology I realize now to hiking and how I can enjoy it.
okay.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, and he's saying
all right.
it was really my wife. My wife wanted to go see these falls, so it wasn't really
Right.
Robert as much. But
All right, I'll have to listen back.
yeah, it was. I mean, I had a good time
This isn't anybody else. It's funny. Bobby loves weddings now.
Bobby
Loves
loves
weddings.
after mine.
After his. My wedding, every picture was like this.
Yours isn't the only one. Yours isn't the only one, sir.
So
There was
hard.
numerous. There was numerous.
So, but dude, you want to give it a try?
No, I don't. I just.
You're talking about the bouldering place?
Yeah, man. You want to go, Phil?
Nah, I have to pass, bro.
Dude, I don't want to go either, man.
I do plenty of fucking physical activities.
I know
don't
it's just fun, dude. It's really
Yeah,
fun.
lifting real heavy in my basement is real fun.
Yeah.
I don't have to go nowhere, pay nobody.
Okay. You can go for free.
How was your week, Phil?
I was good. I had my own
let me-
little vacation.
Let me
over-
say it
Oh,
real
yeah,
quick,
go ahead.
Phil.
That's all the stuff coming out.
All right, sorry. Go ahead, Phil.
My week was pretty good. I had a little vacation over Labor Day as well. I drove down to North Carolina to visit on a friend I grew up with who moved down there
Cool.
a couple years ago. He and his wife and kid live down there, so I don't get to see them much anymore. But we ran around and went to they live not too far from Raleigh.
Okay.
So we went to downtown Raleigh, went to the Museum of Natural History on Labor Day, and I got to
was it
go
packed
see
with
some
some
dinosaurs. They have an awesome
My man loves some
Dinosaur DNA.
yeah. Dude, it's a smaller museum, so it's not like the scale of the Smithsonian. And so their dino display is muted, but they have a really great Acrocanthosaurus skeleton. It's a descendant of your favorite Allosaurus.
There you go.
So, and they have the only place I've ever seen where you can walk by part of it, and they have the lab where no one was working because it was the weekend, but it's all behind glass. You can see what they're working on. So I got to see like a nesting site they had opened up, and
That's cool.
some
That's
skeleton
awesome.
they were working on. It was cool. So, and we went to a place I didn't realize it was a chain, but it was a specialized movie theater called the Alamo. They
Oh,
do
of course,
like
the Alamo,
they
yeah.
do like vintage
Bloody
mo-
history.
Yeah, it's all VHS that they restore, and you can watch new.
It was a bloody time, VHS.
Yeah. You can watch new release stuff there too, but it's like a theater where you can have a bar and have a meal and stuff, and you can rent whatever you want and watch it there.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. They have like giant blown up of all these cheesy B movie cases, so you
Nice.
can watch it. Yeah, it's
So
very
you watch
to
Back
watch-
to the Future.
So you get to watch some junk.
No, well, I didn't. We didn't. I just went there they wanted to show it to me because they knew I would like it. But we just ate dinner there.
They're like Piranha 4.
Yeah, dude, you can rent some wild ass shit there, dude. It's crazy.
Anaconda 2. Blood Rose. Is it Blood Rose or Blood
Yeah,
Flower?
dude, they had like some Japanese stuff that I've never heard of.
Tentacle stuff?
Well, no, I think they don't do the X-rated stuff, but they do like,
I didn't say X-ray. I just said tentacle stuff.
but like the
Jeez.
classic like 1950s like man with two heads. And
You know, I've never done an X-rated theater. I would like to try it.
Really?
Yeah.
Very sticky.
No, I'm sure.
Very sticky.
Well, the old one in Baltimore closed down.
No, the one that was on Bel Air Road.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you ever go to the porn store on Route 1 back in the day in Laurel? And they had the booths?
Back in the day.
Which one?
he was there last week.
The one that was near Main Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I never went into that one. That one has still got some shady shit going on with it. It's like a bookstore now, but
Yeah.
I think the word is
Which-
misleading.
Which one do we go with Mario?
The one on 40
Maybe.
that had boost too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one
Yeah,
up by
on the
Aberdeen
booths?
on 40.
I've definitely
That I
gone to
knew
the
of.
booths and watched.
I've been in a booth, buddy booth.
That's a lost. Well, maybe it's not a lost thing since apparently this.
Oh man, I'm feeling a song coming on. Tell me your secrets, and I'll tell mine at the buddy booth. Buddy booth. At the buddy booth.
We were just trying to save money. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Just trying to save some money.
What's the proximity in this buddy booth?
I mean, it was a good 4.5 feet wide. You were fine.
Fine. You sit over there, and
Hey,
I'll sit over here.
listen. You go left hand, I go right hand.
Exactly.
I don't want our elbows bumping.
But I
I
definitely
mean, you're not supposed to put your junk out in those booths. You're not supposed to jerk off.
no, you're not.
You're not supposed to, but you know.
But I think that's my thing with the.
The floor is
I
definitely
think
sticky every time.
I think that the the X-rated theater would be a exercise in discipline.
Of not beating off.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine going to watch a full-length feature pornographic film?
Dude, how long is that?
I don't know.
Most
Most of the ones I buy are 8-hour compilations.
I don't know.
I don't know Bailey J. I don't know Bailey J. made one of those yet.
I don't think she has.
Like how long?
We're waiting.
What's the
I had
longest
pre-ordered.
you've ever sat and watched without fast forwarding one porn?
God, never.
Yeah, never.
Right?
I mean,
so I can't.
that's
That
the point.
is an experience.
Yeah.
Let's all go.
Patreon Nerd Rage experience.
Every other seat is fine.
Man, you can sell tapes of that at BCC.
Dude, but speaking of BCC, it is coming up. We'll be at table A248. Should we get into news?
Yeah, we should because I got about 15 minutes.
Okay. Oh shoot. All right.
Should we do Star Wars first? Because Star Wars is always catching the fucking short end of the stick. Let's start with Star Wars this week. Drunk on Mouse. They're going to be serving alcoholic drinks at the cantina at the Star Wars park.
Really?
Wow.
Is that the first one that they
I
had?
think so.
Really?
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. And the cantina is built like a Star Wars cantina. It's like you go in, sit down, have a drink. Dude,
I feel like you have to go.
Dude, should all the hostess and waiters and waitresses be aliens?
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing is supposed to be 100%
Immersive.
So, like, you have to like
Oh, so you're gonna know how it feels when some dick try to break their character like you do in Williamsburg.
yeah, we've had this conversation before.
yeah,
It
you
is
might-
different.
You might get salty for that.
No. I'm gonna it'd be the opposite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'll be like, dude, you cannot smoke a cigarette back here. That is not okay. I'm pretty sure it's against imperial regulations, and I'm pretty sure you need a cancer stick or a death stick, not a cancer stick.
Yeah, right the first time.
Also, Ryan Johnson trilogy. He came out and said he's still on. There's some interesting. No.
wanna see the outside.
I know you.
You already looked at
I know,
it.
No,
You already looked
and,
at it.
and I took one page and I said it's too much.
I just want to look at the outside. Literally, I don't want to open it up.
That's why
It's the sequel to
Continue.
Spider-Verse.
Continue.
No.
He's distracted.
Why? I'm not distracted. So they actually had the Alex Ross Spider-Man. Is that some special?
No, that's Superior.
That's
that's,
Alex Ross's design for the first Spider-Man movie.
It's one of the other things.
No, it's Doc Ock Spider-Man. They may be the same, but I mean, that's the Doc Ock Spider-Man.
Okay.
When they switch brains, it's pretty great. Dumb. So there's some beef going on within the Star Wars community right now involving this dude Mike Zero. So he has a YouTube channel where he puts out, and I've watched some of his videos.
I just want to look at a picture of him so keep talking. I'll pull him up.
He makes like a lot of videos, and he always has the leaks. But
they're always wrong.
the leaks that I've seen him put out always are inaccurate. I watched some of his Last Jedi leaks, leading up to it. 100% wrong,
Is he also a rapper?
and a driver. He put out one of those. The Ryan Johnson trilogy thing is canceled, and Ryan Johnson tweeted out like, I don't know where this is coming from, but it's 100% still on.
Yeah.
And then he tweeted back, and he's like, "Oh, wait a minute, I hear it's coming from Mike Zero. Let me tell you something. We had this thing on set." He's like, the Star Wars folks monitored social media and such, looking for potential leaks. Right?
Yeah.
And every time they found the Mike Zero leak, they would laugh because it was so far off, and it became a thing. Like if you were sitting at the lunch table and you like balled up a paper wrapper and was, Jordan, and give it a toss and you miss.
Yeah.
They'd be like, dude, you zeroed it.
Wow.
But yeah, still happening. Heartstrings are strong with the Force. There's a paper story that went out in the New York Post about this kid that was being bullied and he like refused to fight back.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, I
And he-
remember that.
Horrible, man.
And he said because revenge is not the Jedi way. And anyway, Mark Hamill like tweeted at him and like trying to reach out to him and everything. Fucking cool shit. A bummer. Gary, of course, hit me up and was like, "See, Luke's a fucking idiot. He had it wrong all along. Look what happened."
God. You should get Gary to do a rant on that. Come on,
Dude, he I just talked to him yesterday, and he has this whole thing he wants to go into involving the Halloween series.
Oh shit.
And I was like, please come over and do it. And he says he would.
Yeah, because the new one's coming out.
Yeah. He has a whole lot that he wants to talk about it.
Shit.
And he has this dream of Michael Myers fighting Batman and why it would be the greatest story ever told.
Really?
And he's like, you gotta imagine it, man. you fucking market this thing. Let me tell you, like, you got to see the fucking poster in your mind. You listening? You got the Dark Knight, and then you got the fucking darkness. You know what I mean? And they're like,
Would this be the long Halloween? The longer Halloween?
The longest. And then also, Welcome to the Jungle. There's a few more pictures that I posted from the set of episode 9. Seems very indoor-esque. I'm not sure if they're going to return there or not, or what the deal is involving that. But that's it. That's really it involving Star Wars this week.
It's where what's his face was conceived.
This is a setup. Who?
Kylo.
Oh, possibly. Am I missing something? I'm missing something.
No, I'm saying it's where he's conceived.
Do we know that?
I think we do.
Okay. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I heard that someplace else. That's the way it is in my head canon.
I got you. I'm good with that. I'm good with it.
No, maybe this time. Maybe he was born 3 years after Endor.
Yeah, because he's like 20 something, and it's supposed to be like real time after Endor. I don't know.
Huh.
Pokemon, they choose you. So according to Screen Rant, which I always post bullshit, and this is no different. This comes from a variety of sources that is saying Pokemon is the highest grossing media franchise at the moment. Where the sources come from, they also say we're just estimating. We don't have a what you call idea. But the reason why I wanted to include this is, dude, how much did losing that fucking license hurt Takara?
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
Just
Like,
wanna rub
if
it in?
no. Just if it is the highest grossing media franchise, Takara had I think it was Tomy technically, but Takara Tomy had the license for their toys, and they lost it. And like,
That got it.
ever since then, I'm not saying they're related. Look, I'm not saying it's aliens, but like ever since then, we've seen an
Extraterrestrial.
we've seen an increase in prices on masterpieces, and you know what I mean. Like, it seems like they're trying to recoup on the back end.
Prices.
But I do find that interesting. The other in this source, it's a Wikipedia article that they're citing. But the Wikipedia article estimates the top 3 in order are Pokemon, Hello Kitty, and Star Wars.
Wow.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
wow.
Hello Kitty's huge. You start thinking about like
Yeah,
socks
it is
and
huge,
fucking,
yeah.
you know, like
All the
Watched
merchandising is
documentary-
insane.
The toys that made us. I
Yeah.
didn't even think about how big they are.
Yeah,
So
they're
I watched them, like,
huge, yeah.
they're everywhere,
yeah.
and not just Hello Kitty, but like all the related characters.
Yeah,
and
I
stuff.
think Mickey Mouse was number 5.
Well, unrelated but kind of related. You heard about the Eagles' greatest hit just beat out Thriller?
Yeah,
I did.
I heard
The
about
album
that. Yeah.
of all
I
time.
did. There's some,
How's that
There's some
possible?
controversy behind that though with the number count.
What do you mean?
I listened to it on another podcast,
Yeah.
and they were talking about it. Oh, because it is a the album that took out Thriller.
Yeah.
Is a greatest hits album,
Yeah.
and they're so what they're saying, like the general idea is that like you can't never have people compared greatest hits or compilation records to
Okay.
actual released records. Like all of a sudden we're making like an
exception for that.
exception to
Yeah.
this rule.
Okay.
You know.
And now, and help me out if I'm wrong though, but like the jump had to be because of online like downloads and shit, right?
Or streams. Streams are the new thing.
So they're counting streams
They have to.
for sales?
Yeah. That's how, streams are included in sales. Like your first week projections include streams now.
Yeah,
Wow.
but
Because
Thrillers had that record
1 million
and like
streams.
physical sales forever. You know what I mean? You know that like I would say there's a difference between somebody who's buying a physical DVD or CD. You know what I mean? Or downloading it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But God
damn it, I don't like it.
so like, I
Fuck
think
the Eagles.
for every million.
MJ forever. Is this a pedophile thing? Is this a pedophile
It
thing?
might be.
Fuck. Can't let anybody.
Da, 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 da. Why? Didn't they give you that thing? So, if this town, talking about little boy booty, is just an apple, let me take a bite. I hope he's not, but that song does fuck with me now. That and Pretty Young Thing both fuck with me.
Yeah.
What Man in There?
But I still jam out. I still jam out.
TLC to love and care.
I still jam out to it, especially on that breakdown. That shit is rocking. Okay, so they have 4th actually is Mickey Mouse and 5th is Mario,
Wow.
which is interesting. It's a me. do we even want this? IDW is doing a Star Trek vs. Transformers comic that's going to start next month.
No.
Oh,
Don't-
God,
Yeah,
no.
it starts so Kirk and friends are on a voyage into Klingon space, and they stumble across Cybertronians, and the mayhem ensues. Is the premise? I think it's fucking dumb too. I don't like peanut butter and jelly go well together, but I don't think you need to make peanut butter go like use that. Peanut butter's a
first of
bad
all,
example because
peanut
peanut butter
butter
goes well with
with
most
everything.
things. But I don't think you need to take jelly and try to make that go well with everything. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like. It just seems so desperate to me. Like, it doesn't seem like a logical choice. Like, even when they did the Transformers G.I. Joe stuff, a lot of that stuff seems desperate to me. But the World War II stuff
works.
seemed cool.
Yeah.
There was one Star
Conceptual.
Trek with X-Men crossover, and they sold the whole thing like, can Wolverine survive a phaser blast? And like as it's eating away his flesh, is like growing back. They never did it.
Right.
And then so they did like one, and then they did a one shot with the original, and then a one shot with the Next Generation. And I didn't like it because they were in continuity. It's like, oh, mutants. You must be talking about Earth of the 20th century. So apparently mutants had disappeared.
Right.
And there's no history of them at one point. And I hated that shit.
That means
Some stuff
Well,
don't
that
work
means-
well.
all that means is that fucking fuck. Who was the group that were head of
the Beastie Boys?
Yes, they were head of the
Beastie
anti-mutants.
The Hellfire Club.
No, they weren't mutants. They
I
were,
started the T.
it was like a military organization.
Oh,
And rep or whatever. They won.
yeah.
They wiped out the
Yeah,
mutants.
so.
Some stuff doesn't work well in crossovers. I didn't like the
What did-
Transformers and Marvel crossover.
what did you think of the Green Lantern Planet of the Apes crossover?
Oh, I couldn't be bothered. Couldn't be bothered. A run-in with a space alien. The Last Predators trailer. Did anybody watch it?
Yeah.
Nope.
I watched it.
I love Predators.
So, let me tell you what my concern is.
Mm-hmm.
The approach to Predator of constantly being this one-trick pony, of you bring the Predator to Earth, he fights a group, he's hunting, the people win, they pick up the remains, they go back to Predator Planet. Like, how many times do I need to see that story? That's why I enjoyed Predators.
Yeah. That's why I enjoyed
me
the third
too.
one as well.
Yeah.
Now they seem to be mixing a little bit here because you're right. The general story seems to be the original one from the first two, which is problematic because that's something we've seen before. But they're incorporating the genetic engineering bit into it now, which kind of explains why there were two species or two subspecies at least in the Predators movie.
Yes, and
What do you
we see
mean,
Predator
there's
dogs.
two subspecies?
Yeah, in Predators,
there
the
was
one with
two
Adrian
different
Brody,
Predators.
where they're off world, where
Yeah.
they bring the humans to the moon or whatever,
Yeah.
that one moon. Well, they show two distinct species of predators. They
They're
show the
fighting
classic one, which we all know from the first two movies and
Yeah.
from AVP, and then they show the new one,
It's like a super predator.
which is like a super predator. It's bigger.
I can't even
This is
remember.
why I need.
I
Phil
can't even
around
remember. I've
more
seen
Yeah,
the
and
movie.
that's the one that takes out
He
the
hasn't
original.
done enough alcohol or drugs to like fuck his mind up. So like,
Yeah, there are like
it's
three
all
super
works
predators
properly.
that take out the other ones and go after Brody and the guys.
I can't remember.
Okay, because remember the one that Brody finds chained up.
Oh, yeah,
and that's
yeah,
the
yeah.
original. That's one of the original, the classic ones, the
Which
smaller
helps
ones.
him as-
So it's
which helps him as-
basically what they've shown in the comics from back in the 90s, which there was a Race Wars miniseries, which had two different species fighting like whites and blacks in the prison.
Whoa,
That was the side story. There were two plots
European
going on.
Americans and African Americans, Phil.
I mean, that was the story in Race War, and it showed two human races combating, and then having to learn to work together in order to stop two predators from killing everything. And so they're doing that now. Now they're explaining that as genetic engineering in the new one.
I like the Predator
They're,
dogs.
they're
Yeah,
humans.
predators are badass.
I didn't see the trailer. They look cool.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they look
Yeah.
like just like what you'd expect them to be. Actually, it looks like they have a little hint of alien in them.
Yeah. The predator dogs, I think they're a little bit different
Should
than
we
the
call
ones that
them-
were shown in
Should we call them Predator dogs?
predator dogs.
I feel like we should call them Predator dogs.
Because the
How
they're-
about how about Predapups?
I forget. Did they have the spines that were in Predators? The ones that
I
the
don't
dogs
know
were
if
in
I don't know if you get a good enough shot. You get a close up
Yeah.
of one of their heads, like on a bit of that.
yeah,
and
I'm
then and then
wondering.
you get a little silhouette action.
I'm wondering if it's the same dogs they
humans
use in
genetically
Predators.
engineer this super predator.
Well, no, it seems like the predators have been taking whatever species they conquer and use as game to incorporate their genetics into themselves.
to make them better.
Huh. Interesting.
I had a conversation with Phil over French toast,
Yes.
which I quite enjoyed. In
Dude,
regard
that needs to
to
be a segment.
It should be Phil French toast
Combo.
Yeah, but I feel like we need another F sound.
Phil French toast.
Phil philosophizing with French toast.
Yes.
Philosophies with Phil and French toast.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we had a pretty good conversation about the sect of fandom that's like Predator, Aliens, RoboCop,
Yeah.
Terminator.
Because
kinda
I'm
like
in on that.
Yeah.
You know,
Like
like-
Dark Horse.
I
Where
love
that's
that.
their main
Yeah.
focus, you know, and how
Yeah,
they're
that's one of my favorites.
they're a strong fandom,
Yeah.
but they're not really unified because the franchises
Oh,
are
yeah,
so different.
yeah,
but they've had all these
exactly,
crossovers
exactly,
and like Dark
yeah.
Horse books and shit.
Yep.
All right. So what do you think is what is your favorite? Right. Listen to me carefully.
I'm listening, baby.
Alien,
Mm,
not aliens.
Okay.
Alien,
I'm listening.
RoboCop,
Uh-huh.
Predator. Those films.
Predator.
Predator.
Same. Second would be RoboCop.
Ooh, that's tough. Okay.
Can I throw one caveat in while he's thinking?
Sure.
I like Aliens better than any movie from those three.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. But that
I'm
that's
with you.
something
I'm with
else.
you.
Okay,
That's
so
about it.
to me, Alien and Aliens are equal to me because they're two different movies. They're two different style of film.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Alien is a
No,
a
yeah.
sci-fi thriller,
Yeah.
Agree?
Yes.
but we're not counting Aliens in this.
Alien,
Correct.
Predator,
Okay.
RoboCop.
Alien is a better film than Predator, so I have to go with that. But Predator is my favorite, like 80s style film.
I don't
Okay.
disagree with that either. I think that
I
he's
agree.
right.
'Cause-
I agree.
I just enjoy Predator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about earlier with the
Like,
Pacific
yeah,
Rim.
like
yeah,
the character-wise, I like the Predator
Predator's
creatures
so good.
more. But I like the diversity that can happen with the aliens because
Yeah.
they can
Yeah.
host anything, basically.
Oh, now he wants diversity all of a sudden.
And Alien had race war too.
It's
Red
a
versus
it's
Black.
a, it's a tough one for me because I think Predator may be my favorite Schwarzenegger movie.
Yeah, it is mine. It's
Kidding
mine.
Kindergarten Cop, or are we
Yeah.
just
No.
not going to mention
It's not a tumor. I mean, it
Like
might,
I love T2
Yeah.
and T1,
I
but
hear you.
Predator I like as a
yeah.
film
There's
better
something
than
that
those.
there's something about get to the chopper.
Yeah,
you know it's
it's
classic.
the lines in
It's
there.
classic.
So I'm interested to see
Dude,
what
the
Shane
handshake.
Black
But-
is going to do with the new one because
ugly
he's in the
motherfucker.
movie.
Yeah,
Shane Black,
But
the director of the new one.
I
is
might
one
have
of
to
the
go.
actors.
I might have to go with RoboCop.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that original RoboCop. Now
fucking good.
I
It's
do
great.
I
It
do
is good.
believe
They're all great.
I do believe RoboCop 2, 3, and whatever the fuck else tainted.
Yes.
More-
it-
Good.
I like to also.
two.
I like
I
parts of
understand
2 and
your
3,
point,
but I like.
but I
understand.
really like to.
I like parts of 2, but 3 went crazy.
three
With
went
Cyborg
off the
Ninja.
rails.
Yeah,
Cyborg Ninja Warrior.
Did you hate the remake or no? Because I
I
enjoyed
didn't,
the remake.
I didn't hate it.
Uh-huh.
What fucked with me with the remake is why did they keep his real hand?
Yeah,
I
that
can't
didn't
get
make any
I
sense
can't
to
get
me.
past that.
Why?
Because they
wouldn't
kept
you?
basically none of his body.
But because they couldn't.
Yeah, they couldn't. But why keep the
Why
intact
couldn't-
hand?
It keeps you human. Lets you have a real touch. Like,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I
Okay.
understand it.
Did you put a little
I
sauce
under-
on that touch?
Yeah,
He said, "Let's him have a real touch."
but dude, look at his nails. But think of they have to have like extra things for blood flow and connectivity. It's like
It's extra work to make that functional.
yeah. You know,
no more than
Engine-
keeping the head alive.
no,
No,
you have
but
to
just
keep
for
it alive. That's
sensitivity.
like you
I know,
have to.
But that was all that was left of him that was functional. Was some internal organs.
Yeah.
His
It
head.
was his
and
heart.
hand.
It was no. I
Heart,
don't think it was
lungs,
heart.
and his
Was it even
head.
his heart or just lungs?
I think it was his heart and his lungs.
Yeah,
Or his
heart,
was
lungs, and brain,
amplified or something.
and just his
yeah.
face.
His heart is always.
I think psychologically, it would help a person. have a hand.
I get that.
Yeah, I'm
Joe,
with you, Joe.
But it's fucking stupid.
It's not.
If you were designing a robot cop,
Why are we not mentioning the trump card of the RoboCop reboot? Gary Oldman.
yeah.
Agreed.
So anyway, but dude, there's something about RoboCop in that like kind of that,
move, creep.
that Jesus, that Jesus
Archetype.
archetype that just is powerful to me. You know what I mean?
Well, I think I'll be honest.
Push it.
I think the emotion. See, like if we could we could have conversations like this if we had the time. But like, just about all 4 of those franchises. But like,
Yeah.
Do a Patreon.
yeah, but still gotta get the time for that.
I know.
But like, what I like most about those 3 is I like Predator because I think Predator's fun to watch.
Yeah, it is.
I like Aliens because I think the world is the most interesting.
Yeah.
And I like RoboCop because I like the RoboCop ties into something that none of the other ones really do, which is the emotional connections between characters.
Yep.
Like nobody really goes for that except for RoboCop. Within that,
that music. I love that shit.
And like, dude, I'll buy that for $1. You know what I mean?
Dude, yeah, the whole schematic of that being
dude.
like
and like the
making fun of the '80s, just like Predator 2 did with the hardcore being basically a parody of Hard Copy at the time.
and like the whole the commercials.
All the sensationalism is just amplified.
Yeah,
It was
dude.
great. Just like Frank Miller.
OPC. Anyway, dude, answer that shit.
answer.
Yeah, dude. The fuck's wrong with you?
Jisk,
Yo, what's happening, dude?
what's going on with you? You're
Yeah, you know what I was waiting for? I was waiting for Joe.
you're on you're live on Nerd Rage at the moment.
Oh, it's a treat for everybody.
Hey, Jisk. How that beard doing?
How's the
It's doing all right. It's not the glory that it used to.
The humid down there in Florida.
I tried to watch End of the Realm the other night, but I had to turn it off and go back to audio because it was making my face itch.
Get the fuck out of here.
Hey, look, let me give you a call back later.
So let me just say this real fast because I know nobody from End of the Realm listens to the show.
What'd you say?
I said I know nobody from ETR other than me listens to Nerd Rage, so you didn't miss anything by
All right, buddy.
Well,
you later.
I know Tyler from formerly from the podcast
Toy Detox.
Toy Detox.
Whatever happened to those guys? Is Toy Detox no longer a thing anymore?
Let's call. Well, I'll call him. I'll call him before.
Anyway, he did comment about KO resin. Whatever.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
So let's save that. That's some good stuff in there. Good conversation.
What is it?
All right, continue. Continue.
Came out today.
And this is a graphic novel of it.
No, it's
Oh,
like
it's a
some
deluxe
extra
edition.
sketches
I
and
got you.
stuff
I
from
got
the
you. I
web.
got you. I got you. I would like to look through that actually. So the next one is I cannot wait. We don't need to spend much time on it, but that fucking Spider-Man game looks better and better every
Yeah.
fucking minute. The shit
I
with
might
Black
have to-
Cat, they just put like a little.
Yeah, the
might
little
have to
teaser.
buy
That
it.
was cool.
So it
So
comes
good.
out the 7th, right?
Yes.
So
If you,
tomorrow?
are you going to get?
Yeah.
Do you have it pre-ordered or what?
I do
or
not.
no?
I throw the
No,
dice.
see, Bobby's can't wait to get it.
I'm sure there's like an ultra special edition with extra stuff. That's why I'm asking.
I too like to live dangerously.
So if you get an ultra special edition, I'm gonna be curious what it comes with.
Well, I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna play it. I do play the non-fighting games. I do play all the way to the end.
right.
Battlefield, I play or Battlefront, whatever it is.
So
So that when you get that, you have to let me know because I'm gonna come see it.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna definitely get that.
Take that.
So the next one, I'm an Avenger and a Flyer and a Driver. The trailer for Avengers: The Black Panther Quest, the animated show, is going straight to Disney Pay.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I don't know if
heard
anybody watched the trailer. It seems fine.
Yeah.
I had to say this, okay?
What's the
I had to
animation?
get this off my chest. It looks very
animation
similar
style?
to Voltron, and
Okay,
Star
okay,
Wars
okay, cool.
Resistance, and I have to say this: Black
Get
Panther,
this man a shield.
dude.
Is it him voicing
that
it?
shit
It's him voicing it, right?
Fuck no.
Oh, really? Why
Yeah,
not?
Because they
Money?
can't afford him at this point.
Yeah, it's true.
That fucking scene presses my buttons. That evacuate the city, engage your defenses, and get this man a shit. I'm like, yes.
And he gives
God
him those
damn it.
those lame ass little things for each
Yeah,
one. I was like,
little
come
bear
on,
claws. I think it's
give him
some
a
little
real
bear
shield.
claws.
A real shield.
But then also the I'm Hawkeye. I don't care. But Black Panther the film was lightning in a bottle, and I think it will have tons of success. I love that it solidified that character in public conscious. Like I'm all for it. Everybody following the production marketing rollout of Black Panther is starting to piss me off. Like this thing has like rap music as like the music in the background to like promote it, but it's not Kendrick Lamar, who is arguably one of the best rappers alive right now of the modern era. It's probably MC such and such with you know what I mean. Like just because it works on one thing doesn't mean that everything needs to be identical to that. What made it work was that it was different. You want to follow the script? Make yours fucking different. You know what I'm saying? It's starting to piss me off. That's all.
There was a rumor early today that the Captain Marvel trailer was going to get released today, the official one.
So we saw we're gonna get to a note about
okay, that's what I was
but yeah, I heard
I've
that
been
as
driving
well.
and flying,
that
so I didn't know.
dude,
Dana, I figured I missed it if it got released.
Dana.
Want to get her?
Nah, but she hates that joke. She hates it
really?
so much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and like so.
I wonder why.
She's like, it's not funny. I don't get it. And she drops a bunch of trash ass jokes. Like you know what I mean? It's just very sensitive about other people's jokes. Anyway, the next one, the Venom Kamikaze, and I really only bring this up to kind of talk about that other thing that I'm getting a lot of write-ins about. So the Venom, there's a song that was released by Eminem that's on the Kamikaze album. That was a surprise album drop, which I like. I just want to say that I like the idea of no rollout.
Phil is really distracting me. Phil, what are you doing? What are you doing?
He's easily distracted.
What are you doing over there, man?
This came out today. This is the only omnibus I bought.
Oh, sweet.
wow.
Is it all McFarlane stuff and Eric Larson?
It's before and after and during.
Oh, it's got fucking Carnage.
Yeah,
in
it's
there too.
even got all the way through Maximum Carnage.
Oh, wow.
Sorry,
That's awesome. How much did it run you?
it's 125.
Yeeks.
Holy
But I got
God.
20% off of it.
Okay.
So
I'm going to check it out on the old Zon of Emma, if you know what I mean.
yeah, you could probably find it cheaper on there. I just
bought some
happened to see it
epoxy.
because it came out today.
I'm
I was
getting
like,
ready to
oh,
go
shit.
again. I'm getting ready to give it another go.
Oh,
What's
really?
that?
Customs.
Because you gave up.
I gave up. I'm getting ready to give it another go. This Kamikaze album. I got to talk about all this real quick. So the Eminem dropped a Kamikaze album. One of the songs on there is a song that's going to be used for the Venom soundtrack. People are saying that's not the strongest song that he's ever put out. Therefore, it might be indicative of Venom not being the strongest movie that's ever been put out. I think we
Seems legit.
but I think we all, but I think we all agree that no one thinks that Venom is going to be the strongest movie that anyone's ever put out. So no one cares. But I say that to say this: on Kamikaze, M is back to rapping, which is nice. He's really going for it, which is nice to see. In here, he disses everybody, including Joe Budden.
Wow.
MGK, Machine Gun Kelly, Cleveland guy, put out a response to it, and people are listening to that. And look, I think MGK is talented, but people are debating on who got who, and I'm kind of like, who cares? Like, you know, I just don't care. Charlamagne called it mayonnaise mayhem. But anyway, Joe Budden did a 3-hour podcast that published today, and the first hour of it, he talks about Eminem, and it's fucking crazy.
Wow.
Like,
Sounds like an 8 weeks episode coming out now.
dude, I wish I could get those guys on board, but I am going to play a couple excerpts from it.
Okay.
But he basically said, "Look, I'll come out of retirement for you, but not during your
I
role."
thought they were boys.
No, they were never boys. He's made that abundantly clear. He was signed to him. He was signed to Shady as Slaughterhouse, never as a solo artist.
Yeah.
So he's made it abundantly clear that like their relationship is not buddy buddy. It's
Like
business.
before
Yeah,
M's
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. So here we go.
I heard the album. And because I think you don't really know all the members that were in the group, I don't really think you know our history. Let me tell you what Joe Budden has thought this entire time. I've been better than you this entire fucking decade. Huh? Can't say that back then. Can't say that back then. But in my rapper brain, I'm a content nigga. You gotta say something. You have not said anything for the better part of a whole fucking decade. That's true. You have rhymed a bunch of words. Newsflash M.
So one more, and I know some people aren't into this, and I apologize.
There was a moment in time
No, you don't.
where a jawline, it stung you a little bit. and Everlast had to smoke before him. I know you don't know about me. You better go check my fucking Carfax.
Check my
You better
Carfax.
go ask some niggas that's close to you. I live for this type of shit. And all of that rapidy rap, lyrical miracle bullshit, any nigga who want it like that think they want it with me, I don't think you would fare well. I also think it's really corny when retired niggas pop shit about what they woulda, coulda, woulda done.
Holy shit!
But he
that was 8 weeks, folks.
He went for an hour and he breaks down like all of the business dealings with him and all of these and it's like I sat. So there's a couple things that are interesting to me about this. One, I'm far more interested in his hour-long expose than I am any of the songs on Eminem's album or Machine Gun Kelly's response.
Okay.
The other thing is,
so Machine Gun Kelly was talking shit about Eminem as well.
Well, he because he responded to M dissed him as well. M dissed everybody.
But what did Drake do?
Here's what's funny.
Are you serious?
They came out and made a public statement. There's no disses about Drake in the album, and Button is like, because you don't want that problem, which is interesting. You know, like because there's definitely some stuff in there where you're like, is that about Drake? Like he goes on to mention people that he thinks are really
But
good.
I thought Drake bitched out of that last.
Button shit.
Continue.
Yeah, but so, I think Drake definitely would respond to M because there's money to be made there. With Button, it's just respect.
Okay,
he doesn't care. Anyway, I say all that to say this. He says, "No, put it away for a second, goddammit."
Jesus, what's in the bag?
He says, he like even what he says is still bars. Button like being, and he was like, you didn't mention me one time when I was signed to you. You didn't promote me one time when I was signed to you.
Yeah.
And now the first time you mention me, it's as an adversary. If you ask me, I think you're more about shady business than shady business. And I'm like, God, where is this record? I know there's a record. Give me the record. But anyway, that's the only reason why I bring up the Venom song and I strongly recommend everybody listen to episode 177 of the Joe Budden podcast for a very interesting insight into the music business, especially dealing with Eminem. It's very, very, very engaging.
So what do you think Eminem's intent was?
I think after he got so much flack on the album that he put out in January, he was worried about the last time he touched the game, like you know what I mean, like what he would be remembered for. So he had to come back.
Oh, so the January album was garbage?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's really
I don't care.
Yeah,
That was supposed to be his farewell, the January album initially.
No, I don't think it was necessarily supposed to be his farewell.
Okay,
but like time does funny things.
Yeah,
and if he would have let that ride for 2 years, I'm not sure where his legacy would be.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I think
it
was
would change people's outlook of him.
Yes,
gotcha.
I think it was a smart move to come back.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely put himself back in as a player, but to hear this side of it is like, yeesh. You know, it's
maybe he didn't think it through.
Yeah, it's interesting to say the least. All right, and then we have behind every iron fist is a bunch of predictability. There's some pictures going on of the set. It's a bunch of kung fu. It's a bunch
the trailer
of.
Came out.
Yeah, the trailer came out as well. Do you want to talk?
And then the new trailer.
I don't know if I've seen it.
Yeah,
there's an evil Iron Fist.
Yes,
His
it
fist is red.
is based on it's Davos, but he's based on the guy he becomes, Steel Serpent, because he gets his own way of empowering his fist or whatever to go against Danny in the comics.
Who's just more powerful?
I don't know, actually.
They go head to head.
Yeah, they do go head to head.
They punch at the same time.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to clash fists like that. I imagine they'll have to because it'll be too dramatic not to.
Right,
of course.
But speaking of Davos, I watched a Pokemon movie.
That was so Which one?
It's a relatively newer one, I think. Guillotine or some shit. I don't know. I watched it with Jaina last night. It was her birthday. Whatever she wanted. It was fucking horrible.
You got pizza out of it.
Yeah, I
you
did
get
get
pizza.
It was my pizza was delicious, to be fair, and everybody's looked good. You know, you do a little sweep around, like, oh, all right, everybody's turned out. You see the ones like fucking trash. Like, glad I didn't get that one. You know, but
Usually the gluten-free one.
No, I think they look good. I've actually I enjoy them. I don't. I could have that every once in a while. Like, I don't.
It's a different texture. It's like it's
yeah.
yeah.
I don't mean this disrespectfully. so don't take it that way. But like every now and then you can have a tombstone and enjoy it.
Oh yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
the same thing.
Dude, I love it.
Yeah. But not all the time.
Yeah.
Just
So
every
what
once in a
pizza
while.
was it that you had?
No, it was this fucking Domino's. It's
Okay,
her
okay,
favorite.
yeah, I know.
but just
Yeah.
looking around the room, I was like, oh, everybody's turned out good.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
The chef actually gave a shit tonight. It wasn't just fucking Joe Schmo just got off. His mom just dropped him off because his bike is broken. So anyway, and then the next one is Bobby Scrollface. We got a picture of the scrolls.
Oh, good.
They
From
look
Captain
good.
Marvel?
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
I'll bring it up
Good.
for you.
All right.
Um,
So they didn't actually drop the trailer at noon like they were talking about this morning.
No, they just shot
Okay.
pictures.
Okay,
Yeah.
But-
shit.
I will say this: the fact that we have a
Nice,
confirmation
alright,
that the
cool.
Skrulls have been on the planet since
Since
the
the
90s?
90s. Yeah.
dude, that opens
That's going
up
to set up for Invasion, man.
Secret
It's going to
Invasion.
be awesome.
but not only does it open up for Secret Invasion, but like we always talk about, like anytime the Skrulls are involved, at least someone, is not who you think they are.
Yeah,
You know, and it's going to be a matter of playing that possibility out.
If that shit is Stark, that'll be crazy.
Oh my God.
What about when Nick Cage was shot?
What?
Remember Nick Cage? I mean, not Nick Cage.
What did Nick Cage
I'm always
shot?
living out my fantasies on this podcast.
Your move, creep.
When Luke Cage, not what I was talking about.
Samuel Jackson.
Samuel Jackson, Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Well, he had to go underneath the knife
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Captain and Winter Soldier. So I don't know. As always,
So what if the Skrull was originally shot, and that's why he survived?
I mean, that's what makes it interesting. It's such a
Mhm.
Yeah.
you don't know.
You never know. And then hopefully we'll get a Super Scroll out of the mix.
That'd be cool, especially with the Fantastic Four.
Well, the
thing.
fact,
That'd be
have the Skrulls always been owned by Marvel though?
No,
awesome.
no.
They went with Fox, right?
Yeah,
But there's some things that
yeah,
they're owned by both.
yeah, but yeah. I think that the Skrulls were owned by both, but Marvel never wanted to do it because Super Skrull was exclusively owned
Yeah.
to Fox, and
Yeah.
if they did the Skrulls, they said that they would have wanted
Yeah.
to do Super Skrull.
So I wonder in this if the after credits scene is going to be a Fantastic Four.
Dude,
It's got to be.
Holy
It's
shit,
gotta be.
dude!
It's got to be.
don't get me excited.
So what do you think about Guardians 3 being on indefinite hold?
Well, so there is something I did want to talk about regarding this. We talked about this a bit last week, but the guy who he's mad at, the guy who outed all this information,
Yeah, Batista's mad at.
that guy. Do you remember not too long ago I said I watched this Vice interview where this woman ate this dude up, the dude that was one of the dudes behind the Pizzagate thing? Like this,
Okay.
and I was like, I've never seen an interviewer just devour a person.
Yeah.
He's the person.
Oh, really?
Oh
Yeah.
wow!
Yeah. Like that dude, I think I haven't looked too much into it, but from watching that interview, hearing some of the stories, identifying this situation, he might be a real piece of shit.
Yeah.
Or it's a super troll.
Yeah.
Super Troll could be a real piece of shit.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not denying that.
But yeah, he's the one, like when those people were shot outside that pizza restaurant,
Yeah.
it was like his tweets that like incited that shit.
Yep.
And like
That's
and they're like, and he was like, he was like, well, my words don't mean anything. And she was like, well, you sent that tweet, and then within 24 hours, people shot up this pizza restaurant and killed 2 people or whatever it was. And he was like, well, nobody pays attention to people on the internet. She's like, but they obviously paid attention to you. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah.
She's a fucking pit bull, that lady. But
Nice.
yeah, it's worth checking out. That dude's a fucking character for real.
I can't watch much of that shit because I just get too angry when I see shit like that.
But I think that actually wraps up Marvel. You did post that speech that Michael Keaton gave at a college.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Fucking
yeah. The
awesome.
college thing, that was cool.
Yeah, I think we should play that. It's short.
I don't have it. Do you have it?
No, it's
I
fine.
saw Kin and it was good. The movie about the 2 stepbrothers who get the space gun.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was cool. Like I went in with low expectations, and it is not the best movie in the world.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a plot hole with it, but overall it's good. And the ending was something I could not predict. James Franco was excellent as the gangster guy.
Yeah, I've seen clips of him with that.
Dude, there's a scene where he like pisses on a drugstore floor because the guy won't let him use the bathroom. He's like, I can't go with you watching me. Makes the guy turn around and he pisses on the floor.
You have to roll at 5.
I got to roll before 5.
Oh
with
shit!
that.
All right.
All right. Let's try to get through this
All
thing.
right.
Cats, bats, and voice modulators. The next big event for Batman is going to be the reunion with Catwoman, and Bane is going to be the villain.
Yeah. Because Bane was kind of what orchestrated Selena to leave him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, Bane is the one who got Holly. They brought back Holly, and that's who was going to be Selena's a maid of honor. And she kind of talks Selena out of like, what are you doing? You sure this is the right thing to do? She kind of puts the honey in her ear to force Selena to leave because she thinks that'll make Bruce a better person if he doesn't get married. And at the very end, Holly goes all the way back to her prison cell, and it's Bane that's behind it with a bunch of villains. But it's Bane that's sitting on the
Everybody
throne,
know
basically.
Bruce is Batman now?
I don't know. Bane's always known.
Yeah.
A version of the Joker was there, but in Batman number 49, the issue before, Selena has killed a version of the Joker. So that brings into the question of the 3 Jokers, which is coming out as a comic soon anyway.
Speaking of that, they're going to be 3 46-page issues,
Yes.
prestige format, much like the original Killing Joke. They Jeff Johns says we wanted to harken back to this kind of, since the Killing
Arkham back.
Joke was published, since Killing Joke was published, there's been so much expansion of the Bat family and so many things that have been happening there and since. And I really wanted to, if we're going to tell a Batman story and a Joker story, we were like, we got to tell the best, most emotional story that we possibly can, something that's going to change the relationship with the Joker and how you see the Joker forever. It's based on an emotional journey. It's not plot. It's really about character. This is our Joker story. This is it. So we've got to tell the best Joker story that we possibly can. Which that makes, I'm signed on.
And it's under the Black Label. So their new Black Label imprint, I think it's the first thing they're going to do under it. So it means it's not going to be for kids.
Right.
It's going to be like Marvel's Max line was back in the early 2000s.
Tits and ass.
Real quick, they said the DC Universe Titans is going to largely deal with the fallout between Robin and Batman, which is why the fuck Batman was in the trailer.
So it's definitely it's Dick Grayson though.
Yeah, it's Dick Grayson. It doesn't make any sense to me.
it's going to be it's going to be a big part of.
I wonder if it'd be interesting if he was Nightwing and Jason Todd dies and he takes back up the Robin.
They've already talked about having Red Hood come in as a character. So I don't think that's going to be
But
the
is this
case.
connected? This isn't connected to the DCEU.
No, it's not.
No.
Supposedly.
So you can do whatever you want.
DCEU.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Worlds of DC.
Exactly.
Old habits, Joe.
And you know that Batman, Red Hood changed his character's costume in the comics recently because he had to. Like Batman came in, kicked the shit out of him because Todd went off the deep end and killed Penguin. So Batman finally had it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was
heard that.
recent. So in Red Hood and the Outlaws 25, Bruce comes after him. And he said, by the very end, he's kicking the shit out of Jason. And he rips the bat, because he's always had the red bat symbol on his chest, even though he has the jacket. He rips it off his chest. He's like, you don't deserve this. And then, what's his name? Not Speedy. Who is he now? The other
Red
guy.
Air Arsenal.
Yeah, Arsenal comes in and saves Todd's life, basically.
So Batman was about to kill.
Well, it implies he was going to keep on
dude,
punishing him, basically.
Dude, how
And Arsenal's been out for a little bit. Like
how
he's
hard would
been
that
out
have
of the books.
been if
Batman killed Jason Todd. Yeah, that would be crazy.
So that's why there was the big costume change for Todd.
So what does he look like now?
He looks like basically a cross between Ermac and Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Basically, yeah. It's
I know
ridiculous.
exactly what this looks like.
Yeah. It looks like
poignant.
one of the more up-to-date Mortal Kombat looks.
So Alec Baldwin already has gotten into the swing of the DCEU. And
Oh yeah.
Worlds of
This is
DC.
good. This is good.
Wrong.
and he stepped in to the role of Joker, and then he went ahead and stepped out. He said he cites due to scheduling conflicts, but then he goes on to say like kind of something dickheadish, where he's like, you can get a list of 25 guys to play this role.
He's gonna do Thomas Wayne, right?
And he doesn't say. I think that
Well, that's who it was
the-
supposed
that
to be.
the-
He
that
was supposed to be
the-
Thomas
That was
Wayne.
the highly rumored. But
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever confirmed that. I don't
Well,
know.
I think Baldwin said, yeah, he
did
was,
he?
and then he's like, no, I'm not in anymore. My schedule won't work, basically.
Wow.
He backed out within 24 hours.
And then hashtag slow news week. De Niro's role is that he's going to be playing a night show talk show, like a night
Yeah.
talk show.
Remember
host.
in Miller's Dark Knight, the
Yeah.
talk show host that's supposed to be like,
Is it that guy?
yeah, he's
Oh,
supposed to
okay.
be that guy.
All right. Cool. And then Q&As. Joe has organized them, which I do appreciate. First one is from, speaking of earlier, Mr. Esteban. He says, hello, NRR. I finally listened to the 40K podcast you did on toxicity, and a connection I never saw came to light. People who bring tournament level or meta gaming into everyday games can be classified as toxic. These are people whose passion for high-level play brings other people down. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yu-Gi-Oh!
I'm sorry, Yu-Gi-Oh!
Fucker, Jesus.
And the people who would only run meta and tournament winning combos were the worst. You play against the same decks over and over again, same dicks, am I right, Esteban? Until something new came along. I really enjoyed the conversation you guys had this week on the topic. Just ignoring people who spill vile into the fandom and surrounding yourself with fans that can discourse civilly is great advice. Continuing the conversation with toxicity, I was wondering if you guys could talk about bullying. In the nation, suicide for children between the ages 9 to 15 have spiked. This topic came to mind because Adam talked about educating and disciplining children and understanding their actions online to combat toxicity.
Splinter children.
Yeah, splinter children. Have you guys dealt with bullying or seen it in your children's school? I have a 17-year-old brother, and his senior year just started this month, and there were already 2 suicides in his senior class. Jesus Christ. Wow. Sorry for the sad topic, but I enjoy when you guys talk about your lives and family.
School just started yesterday.
Yeah. Your friend, Esteban.
It depends on what county and what state you're in.
That's true.
I haven't really. I don't know if I've been in a position. I know that like Jaina, this fucking. I've told this story 1,000 times, but that's kind of like my new thing anyway. So, she broke my heart this time. Like we have this symbol. I'm not gonna give it out there, but we have this symbol for it's a sign. Like, are you okay? And she can answer me from a far distance away. I'm okay, or I'm not okay. So if we're at a mall or something and she's a good bit away, I can do this symbol. Are you okay? I'm okay. Cool. Well, nobody wanted to sit with her on the bus. You know, like nobody wanted to have anything to do with
recently?
her. No, this is when she first started school.
That sucks.
So like I used to walk her and she used to hate getting on the bus, like hated it. You know, because people would ignore her, people would like move away from her and shit. You know,
Forrest Gump shit.
Yeah,
like to a point where I was like, when I was like, I'll ride it with you. You know what I mean? Like that's how I was feeling.
Man.
And this one day I got her on the bus and I looked at her and she looked at me through the glass and I gave her the sign for "Are you okay?" and she just shook her head and I was like, God damn it! Like I felt so bad. You know,
Do you
That's
feel
rough.
like you were exposed?
exposed. When I was crying, I was exposed. Bobby crybaby face.
Oh, man. So sad.
But yeah, it was a fucking bummer. Some kid pushed Selena down yesterday.
Ooh.
Damn. But Selena yoked him up.
Yeah,
And,
no
you know,
doubt.
and-
She brought out her blades and
now,
she.
now she's at Lowe's buying plastic bags and duct tape.
Yeah, I got emails about her, but like, you know, she yoked this boy up and was like, you don't ever touch me.
Wow.
You
Dude.
know, like, I don't have to worry about that one.
Yeah.
You have to worry about her bullying other people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But she's a sweet girl. But the Jaina is the one that's like, you know, her heart is on her sleeve. She cares about everybody. She worries about everybody. Like good.
Great Googa Mooga.
You know, that one kid stuttered crazy, and you know that one kid in elementary school, like, you know, a couple kids will stutter, but that one kid really like.
We were just talking about bullying, and now you're going to rehash how you bullied people back in the day. Winning, Bob. Winning. You should say it. You should look at me like, guilty.
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 So anyway, she just always, you know, she's cares. It's a good thing that we don't have news in our her cable, like regular cable, because if she watched the news, she would never go to sleep. You know, like she would
constantly
worry
worry about something.
everyone and everything. So she's the one that I'm concerned about, but she's also has very much developed into a social butterfly, which is funny because it took her fucking forever to talk. Like, dude, I used to be concerned. Like when she was like 3 years old, I'd be like pointing to the light bulb, and I'm like, "What's that?" And she's like, "Diet." I'm like, "Oh boy." You know, like, ooh, mama. But you know, so she's made a bunch of friends now, and everything is cool. But
That's good.
you know, I don't know. Like bullying. Of course, I'm anti-bullying and all that stuff, but like the world is that way. Like people pick on people. Picking on. I think the difference with bullying is that it usually ends up being people. You know, it's always the 1/3 grader that's 7 foot tall and 350 picking on the fucking first grader that's 20 pounds. You know, like that's horse shit.
Yeah.
You know, and like, there's been situations in this fandom where I've seen a smaller statured person. I'm trying to say it. I don't know how it's, you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't mean anything by it. Just a person of a smaller stature seemingly get picked on by a larger stature. And I had to step in to like, that can't happen.
Right.
That's the one thing that won't happen. Anyone else here can happen, but I can't let that happen because that's fucked up.
Yeah.
You know? So like, that's the type of shit I hate. But in general, just dealing with conflict, because not all conflict is friendly, and that will continue through the rest of your life. So I do think that there are valuable tools to learn from having to deal with that conflict. Obviously, if people are fucking committing suicide because they can't handle that conflict, there's a much larger problem in that particular circumstance, and on multiple levels, probably. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm no parent, but you know,
Well, you lack
usually,
the joy of satisfaction of ever having to know fatherhood, Joe. We've talked about this. Yes.
People always talk about how to teach your kids not to bully, but you don't hear as much of teaching your kids how to deal with bullies, like how to not get bullied when someone's bullying you.
Yeah.
That's just as important.
I mean, it used
because
to-
there will be bullies for the rest of your life. Trust me.
Like, I feel like when I was in elementary school, and I'm not saying this is the right way, but I feel like the general rule was when a bully pushes you, you sock the shit out of them, and
Right.
like that's your instant response. Like, I feel like that was told to me by higher authorities. You know, I feel like that's definitely not talked about now and we don't want to incite violence and you know promote it in any way,
You
but
promote studying for yourself.
But there is that nature of it that we do have to address. It's an element of survival that we have to talk about. We can't just lock it away in a closet.
I mean, I have to thank bullying. Like, bullying really made me who I am today. Like,
I think I think in some level, not just bullying, but conflict makes people who they are.
yeah,
You know, because you never know your limits until you're pushed to them.
I was bullied all the way through up into 11th grade.
Dude, I was picked on in elementary. Like, I had a bad, like, 3rd grade to 5th grade, like, was terrible for me. And, like, you know how, like, people cut themselves so they can feel, you know, I never did any of that. But I used to do shit like that on an emotional level where, like, if I knew this girl who wouldn't have anything to do with me was attracted to this boy who also wouldn't have anything to do with me, I would hook them up. Even though I had a crush on this girl, just to hurt,
I feel
you know, like, like, you know, and
you hurt yourself today.
but like, but you know, like, so I understand the stress of having to deal with and formulate a plan to handle emotional or physical pain.
Yep.
You know, I don't know how to fix it other than having figures in people's lives to say, like, you know, to give you those life tools of how to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem is, like, by that point, it was. I don't think you can do anything for people by the time they get to that age.
Yeah, no,
it's
I
something
agree.
you had to start from an early age to teach them to have that conversation with their parents, be able to have the open communication. So when they're bullied, they don't just sit in their room and brood about it till they kill themselves.
Right.
And also how how to stand up, how to deal with people,
Right.
make other friends.
Yeah.
It's a parenting thing more than a kids thing, I think.
Yeah, and
Sitting here
and like
judging all you parents with no kids.
and then also it's like also that big brother, you know, the sense of community too. Like, I had older kids in my neighborhood that I was outside with, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, people don't go outside anymore, really. You know, like, I had older people like telling me, like, look, you know, when you're getting ready to go into middle school, when you get there, somebody does this, you fucking kick them, or you know, I'm like,
Right.
oh, yeah, okay, you got, you know, like, and not to say that's the best advice I could have ever gotten, but I didn't feel unprepared.
It's not. Well, they taught you not to be a victim,
Right.
Yeah.
and that I think is, in my opinion, is kind of the crux of it. Is that we are perpetuating a victim culture where people want to be victims.
I think some people define themselves.
Of course, by their victimness, and I think that's the sad bit is like people always want to tell you what's wrong with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean,
I know a person. Every time I talk to them, they can't wait to tell me how they're borderline diabetic.
yeah.
I'm like, that's not even real.
Everybody's borderline diabetic.
My border's just wider than yours.
Welcome to America.
So you know, it is, and we talked about this before, where there was a point in time where people hid like transgressions of their families or any shame that they had. They didn't want to like tell if you were from the other side of the tracks. You don't want anybody to know. You want to hide that so you could be something. So you can excel something past your status that you were born in.
It's pretty deep rooted in American history.
That was the culture.
Yeah.
Now it's the culture like who's got the most fucked up childhood or who has the biggest problem. It's just this grievance. You know, whose grievance pool of life is deeper?
I mean,
You know what I mean?
Dude, let's make a hero called Grievance Pool.
And I'm just
He's gonna go up against Opus.
yeah. Dude, it just and you know what? You start talking around. It's like old people when they get together, like sad old people. that didn't live like good lives, and they start talking about what's wrong with them, like how bad off they are, and like they you get them together, and it's like an Alexa and a Google talking to each other, you know, and it's like, okay, Google and Alexa, that's it. And it's like they're just like, well, you know, I just lost my big toe. Well, you know, I got the fracture in my hip, and you know, doctor's got me on some new medication, and I can't get to sleep. Oh, I can't take a shit. You know what I mean? It just like gets to the point. It's like
I hear that every day, man.
now we circle back to the
Joe's
right,
daily existence.
the right to death, the right to death.
I remember working at the loading dock and getting a ticket to go move a file cabinet. You know, no big deal. If there's one thing I know how to do. So I go up there to move a file cabinet, and I end up being on this job for 40 minutes because it's some 70-year-old woman that can't allow herself to retire, you know, and is just like she just wanted the file cabinet moved 2 inches. She didn't give a fuck. She just wanted somebody to talk to for just a minute, you know, and like I do think that like there's an element of that in that older generation that you're saying, but this younger generation, I just feel like. It's that pendulum swing I always talk about, like, and we just have a tendency to go too far to one side or the other. And like, yes, like violence, we should try to move away from it. We should try to use other means. We should, yes, 100%. Yes, we should resolve conflict peacefully. Yes, agreed. But there is a time and a place for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there is, and I'm in no way saying that people should. No, I'm not promoting violence in any way, shape, or form.
There are different tools,
but
and it's one of the tools.
Sometimes you have to dig deep.
I think there's a couple of more things. So one is being bully, having a bully versus having everyone bully you is different.
Yeah,
some of these people
definitely.
have like
Armies.
yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's bullying the whole class. That's the
Yeah.
you know punching bag. And two, what we didn't have to deal with when we were kids is cyberbullying. We had
Yeah,
no
that's true.
online.
Yeah.
Being online is very important. Like having a social presence, being an online pariah as a kid, I can't imagine.
Yeah, I mean, there's been times where I've had a hard time dealing with it, and I've, in spite of what others would say, I think I consider myself fairly well adjusted for the trials and tribulations of my life.
This is how you know this is a comedy, folks. But you know,
and real quick, and I've had a hard time dealing with it at times where I've dealt with things much bigger, you know? So I can only imagine what it would be like to be 13, having hormones, having all this other shit going on in your life, and then having to deal with that on top.
just remember, young men, what is best in life: to crush your enemies, to see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentations of their women. Conan the
Conan.
Barbarian.
Yeah.
All right,
Wow. That's
continue.
All right, so next question was from Brian Brink. Vigilante, a member of a self-appointed group of citizens who undertake law enforcement in their community without legal authority, typically because the legal agencies are thought to be inadequate. Considering the definition of vigilante, can it be said that all superheroes are vigilantes? And if so, can vigilantism be taken out of the anti-hero designation? And if so, does that make Batman simply a hero by default because he only does good things, whereas Deadpool does bad things, thus making him an anti-hero? Bad things can be subjective, so maybe apply the golden rule to reduce the ambiguity. I don't know if we have time to go into this.
don't have
This is the whole discussion.
Yeah.
This is gonna be
And,
half
and
hour
listen,
at least.
and listen, guys, listen. I'm gonna say this, and you can't fucking. I don't care how you spin it, breaking every bone in somebody's body.
So you do
and
want to go into it?
and torturing them.
I guess we're
It's
going
a
into
bad
it.
thing.
Like it's hard. It's hard to dress that in the heroic light.
So when I was listening to the show, and I listened to it late because I was at the fucking woods or whatever.
In the mountains.
mountains. I also got to say, like, I almost felt like I was on another planet. Like,
From what you're used to.
There's this thing, this place. It's called outside.
No.
I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Just looking at a wide expanse of outside
yeah.
and not seeing houses or telephone lines
Yeah.
or power cables or exit signs or whatever. Like,
General
light,
civilization.
noise pollution.
well, not even noise pollution, like eye pollution. You know?
Yeah, I said light and noise pollution.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you said like noise pollution.
Oh. No, Splinter Children.
Splinter Children. But seeing like just all, like nothing but clouds and trees,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even feel like I'm on Earth anymore. You know, like because it's not really like how I view life, I guess. But listening back to the show, there was something that you said that binged for me, where you said that, and oftentimes heroics is on a scale, and when you said that, I'm not sure if you meant this, but when you said that, I was like, it can be a number of different scales. It can be a scale of hero to villain. It can be a scale of anti-hero to villain. It can be a scale of anti-hero to hero. It can be a scale of reluctant hero to hero, etc. So I think for me, the way that I see it in my mind is it comes down to the weights on those scales of the heroic act and the anti-heroic act, or whatever we're weighing at the time. And for me, I think what makes it complicated is I often feel like Batman lands at least, a 6, or at least,
60%,
or at least a 5.5 or whatever that puts him over onto the scale of hero. And I think that's how I see that. But and it's also why I also get when people are like, I see it the other way or whatever. I understand.
And maybe the scale is hero villain, and that 51% is the anti-hero, and the 49% is the heroic villain.
Maybe, but if I see it at those numbers, his number goes way up.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where it might be a 9.
Yeah, for me, it's not
you know what I'm
a
saying?
scale thing. It's on and off. Like, you cross this line. You know, like we're talking about the objective, the heroic objective to complete the objective. Makes you a hero. You have to complete the objective to make you a hero. It's the path you take there that makes you a hero or anti-hero. A heroic hero would only do the right thing or good, quote unquote, good thing to get to that line. An anti-hero will bend that rule to get there no matter what.
And I get that, and I think under those guidelines, that Batman definitely falls within that category.
Right.
But I also think that for me, the way I see it is it comes down to intention. Where if the ultimate goal is to, take out Sabretooth, who's raping and pillaging and doing pirate stuff, and
let's save this for a Patreon.
okay, all right,
Yeah.
A full.
Yeah.
all right.
Okay.
Because the next thing I want to say is that the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and that's going to lead us down to more time than I have.
Paul C says, first, glad you're enjoying Hawkeye, Bobby.
One second. Is it Brian Brink a Patreon?
Yes.
Okay, then. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to answer his question off.
Yes.
Something he can't hear.
Well, he should be now.
Said, first, glad you're enjoying Hawkeye, Bobby. Chris did indeed ask if it was okay to lend my books out, and I told him it was totally fine. Interestingly, I've suggested and offered up the Hawkeye books to you guys at least 4 times and was graciously declined. Pinkerton offers it up and even says it's just okay, and you scoop it up. I'm not saying it's racist, but Joe is probably about to get triggered.
White guy gives it to you, take it. That's all right.
It has to do with me having to mail shit back. That's what it has to do with. It's not racism, it's laziness. Anyway, my question for this week, excluding Star Wars and the MCU as a whole for all of these, what do you think is the most successful movie franchise? What is the franchise that you surprisingly ended up loving? What franchise is your biggest disappointment? So we'll do round robin. First of all, Pokemon is the correct answer.
I would say the most successful franchise is probably the 007.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
that's a
yeah,
good
yeah,
point. Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah.
That's so
'Cause it
many
keeps
of
on
them
coming
for
back.
So
Yeah, I
long.
mean, it's
And they're-
it's 5 decades.
Oh, I think longevity-wise, it has it beat.
I mean, there's 25 movies.
I don't know
or
what kind of
26.
money it generates.
It's generating money. It keeps
Yeah.
it's successful.
Definitely
Yeah.
generating money, but does
I mean-
it ever do in one year what DC does in a year? You see what I'm saying?
Well,
And I'm just raising for
we're
this-
just talking about
for-
successful franchise.
Well,
though.
What
Just
does
I'll-
success mean?
I'll box up. I'll come back to it. We'll box office mojo.
Are you saying that 007 is an anti-hero?
Think about it. Think about
You
it.
know, some of the most recent ones, maybe.
You know, I've never seen a whole
I think-
007 movie all the way through.
I think spies in general.
Really?
So I would
Yeah,
say
can't get into 'em.
I would say 007 is probably the most successful one if I had to like Trivial Pursuit it and like that random fact that is
Yeah.
the one I hate that they fucked up the most is I'm going to articulate it being a franchise even though they never made a sequel is the last Airbender movie.
I thought you said Last
Okay.
Samurai.
Wow, yeah, because
Yeah.
they fucked it so much they fucked themselves out of doing the
yeah,
sequel.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
that should have automatically had like
And then my
multiple movies.
favorite outside of those two,
Expendables.
no.
Pardon me, I'm going to go give myself bamboo torture.
So it was outside of Star Wars and what?
Oh, I almost said bamboo torture, which is just on the toes.
I guess it'd have to be Star Trek.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Can I tap out for this one?
Yeah, sure.
All right, guys. Love you.
I'll see you. I should start having more free time from next week on, so more games.
say.
You always say to me, Joe.
Joe?
See ya.
So, what was the three things? Favorite, most successful, and
Let's see here. It was what is the most successful movie franchise? So you know what? Successful movie franchise.
I mean, Star Trek can be very successful. That's been around a long time.
Yeah.
It makes good, especially the new ones. They make good money.
Yeah, I
They
would
probably-
put 007 up there. Though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say 007 would probably be
but
it
I'd
for me.
have to see the numbers though.
Yeah,
Because,
I would too.
Well, they're always regarded as good. There's better ones than others.
Yeah,
but,
but
like,
they're-
they've never fallen off to be like, oh, you know, another.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I know. I fucking know. I know the answer to this.
What is it?
Fast and Furious.
Oh, you're probably right.
Yeah.
You're probably right. You're probably right. Do you want to sit closer? I'm not sure why you're sitting so far away.
Just me across the table from two white guys. It's all right.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. I'll co-sign Fast and Furious. What about you, Phil, for most successful? And then we'll just move on to the next one.
I'd have to say 007.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that either.
What was the next aspect?
What is the franchise that you surprisingly ended up loving?
Ooh.
Surprisingly, I don't know. I generally know what I like.
I know what mine is. It's Lord of the Rings.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I saw Fellowship, and I was like, I will never watch another one of
Really?
these movies ever again.
So what
Okay,
convinced
I
you to
think-
even go in for the second one?
I think friend pressure, like, oh,
Okay.
let's go. And then I
Okay.
saw the second one and loved it. And then I dived into all of it, you know, and
Okay,
then I even
gotcha.
appreciated the first one more. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
definitely felt like fucking what's his face from Clerks when I was like fucking 3 hours of walking is what I just watched. The fucking trees walking that movie, you know, like that's how I felt. I
Well,
was
the
like,
trees did start walking.
Yeah, it's true.
but I was like, this is the most fucking boring piece of shit I've ever seen in my life. But then when I saw the second one and it died, you know, it empired me. And when I dived a little bit into the lore and the story of it, then I was able to appreciate the first one more. And I ended up loving the franchise where I didn't like it. And I could also say the same thing for Game of Thrones. I watched one episode of Game of Thrones, or I probably watched 2 or 3. And I was like, I can't with this. It's fucking Fortimere and Mortimere and all these fucking. Yeah, I can't with. You know, I know those are Lord of the Rings names, but generally speaking, I got lost in the world when I made it through the whole season. When I rewatched it and made it through the whole season, then I understood it a bit better, and then I ended up loving it. So I would put those two, and it's funny because they're both kind of the same genre. You know,
Yeah.
I'm always guns over swords in general.
But it's weird because you're a fantasy over sci-fi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
I'm more
guns over
sci-fi over
swords.
fantasy.
So it's like a
yeah. So
Oh,
odd balance.
contradictory thing,
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah.
I mean, I knew I was gonna like Lord of the Rings because I love just nerdy shit. But
Right.
I was surprised at how much I liked it because I was like, oh, the main character's gonna be fucking.
I don't know if there is one that I ended up falling in
Or-
love
Little people.
Oh yeah, or hairy foot people.
Yeah, but yeah. The
Because
hobbits.
you know, like traditionally,
they weren't
I
even
would
little
want a
people. I mean,
hero to
they're
be
just hobbits
elite.
are just smaller proportionately,
and they're not fighters
or drivers.
or flyers.
Yeah. Which one can you think of for you franchise wise that you weren't gonna meh and then you got into?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't think I have.
I mean, also like
Yeah.
when I watch things, I generally watch them for what they are. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that both of you are actually more open minded than I am. So like,
we're not super taster of movies.
yeah. So I it makes sense to me that you wouldn't have some of these hang-ups that like I have, like, you know, and I definitely have. Like if it doesn't hit with me, you
Yeah,
know,
you're
I'm-
totally
I'm
out.
out.
Where I can be partially in because I know what I'm expecting and I know
Right.
what the parameters are.
Right.
So
And then the last one was what franchise is your biggest disappointment?
Is DC yours? Movie wise.
No, because I only really dislike 2 DC movies
Oh, are you disappointed it didn't become
of this
it
universe.
didn't become a cohesive universe? It fell apart.
that would be mine probably because
Well-
DC should work
It
together.
became the world of DC instead of DCEU.
Yeah, but I don't know how that's going to play out yet.
Yeah,
You know, it might play out that way.
I don't
or it
think-
might be like best fucking choice they ever made. You know,
I don't think they know how it's going to play.
Oh, I
out.
agree.
That's why it fell
That's
apart.
part of the problem.
Well, no. I disagree, and I'll tell you why. Ever since Jeff Johns was promoted to the legal guardian and custodian of all creative development while simultaneously doing character design and redesigning the future worlds of the environments of the gifts and key grips, I think that they've got their shit together. I don't. The Matrix is a huge disappointment to
For
me.
a lot of people. Not for me.
I thought it was fine.
I'm
It's
a
fine.
minority.
And I was disappointed with the first one.
Oh, I love the first one.
I know many people do. But when I saw the previews for it, I was like, this looks cool. And then I went and watched it, and I was like, this is dumb. I was like, this is... Well, and it's another thing, it's like Del Toro, you missed this part of the conversation, but
Okay.
this idea of just and I know that there's no original ideas and everything is... I understand.
Yeah.
But, like, that seemed so much of... Like, somebody was writing a movie, and these are a few of my favorite things was
Shape of
playing
Water?
in the
Yeah.
background. No, not Shape of Water, The Matrix.
Oh, okay.
I think Shape of Water is clearly Beauty and the Beast with a fish man. But, like, I think that favorite things played in the background while they were writing Matrix, and they were like, I like Alice in Wonderland. I like Terminator. I know it's embarrassing. I also like Batteries Are Not Included. And
I like that movie.
and like...
Throw them in a blender and see what you get.
Exactly.
I like dark, washed out looks.
Yeah, I like trench coats. I like
Glasses at night?
shades. But anyway, so that one was a disappointment. I'm trying to think if there was other ones.
Transformers.
Yeah,
Yeah, ultimately.
yeah,
I mean,
dude, I've never been so heartbroken as seeing that first Transformers live action film. Like, I remember my wife apologizing in the theater, like genuinely, like, I'm sorry.
So that is yours.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, probably.
yeah. I don't think I felt that bad until after the second one. I ended up being okay with the first one because I was like, okay, it's a first attempt. No one has ever done this before, really.
Well,
So-
did you follow Transformers through Beast Wars?
Not really. I went back and watched Beast Wars.
Did you follow it through Cybertron, Armada, Car Robots,
No,
any of that
no,
stuff?
I
So you just went G1 to the movies?
Pretty much.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
I mean, I knew what Beast Wars was because the only reason
Right,
I
I
had
did
any
too.
attraction to Beast Wars was because of the T-Rex.
right.
And that's why I will probably get that. But
So, like, I knew that there were all these incantations of Transformers, but
I knew they
right,
existed,
and I'm
but
sure
I didn't.
you did too.
Incarnation.
Yeah, why do I say incantations?
You like Doctor Strange?
Dark Arts.
Do you actually, you want to know why? Flight of Dragons.
Oh, okay.
He says, I'm not afraid of your incantations. I have some incantations of my own. Philosophy, geology, geometry, biology, sociology, psychology, devils, ogres, demons, trolls, sandworms. That's why I always fuck that up. But I think that a lot of people, obviously not you, you are the exception to the rule in this case, that ended up kind of going along for the ride with Transformers the movie, are because their whole concept of that franchise is this reimagination.
Yeah.
Like I watched G1, it reimagined the Beast Wars, and I watched that, and it reimagined into Armada, and I watched that, and it reimagined into Car Robots, and I watched that. So this is another reimagination, and I'm on board with this too. Whereas me, I'm like, I need it to be of this specific caliber, this specific aesthetic, and nothing else will do within reason. Like, obviously Fall of Cybertron Optimus doesn't look like G1 Optimus, but it's close enough. It's in this right spirit.
I ended up liking the third one the best out of the movie.
The third one
just
is
because
my
it has
favorite
the most
out of
character
them.
development.
Exactly, especially the
I was
stuff
like,
between
it was
the
At least
Spock
about the
was in it.
humans.
the fire truck and
Yeah, Sentinel Prime and
Sentinel
Optimus.
Prime and Optimus. Yeah, that was good stuff. I agree.
Spock's voice was real good.
Yeah, as Galvatron as well.
Yeah.
And I think that does it. Anything else we want to do when the mouse is away? The cats can play. If you know what I mean?
Shit.
So tempting.
I can't believe you sat through a whole fucking Pokemon movie.
Oh my god, dude. The things I do for my children. I have never watched such a piece of shit. Like,
No one asked you to pay attention.
you're wrong about that too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
no
got-
phones.
She was like,
Eyes on
she
screen.
told me like I tell Adam, put your phone down.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
she was like, that was part of the birthday thing, and I was like, this is just
That's the bamboo.
bad. And Laura got so upset. There's a penguin character, Ping Pong or some shit. That sounded very racist, but it's similar to that. It's like Pim Plum. Don't make that face. It's something like that. And she was like, Laura, Laura has no tolerance for nonsense. So she's like watching it, and she's like, you can tell by the moment you lay eyes on that penguin, he's not going to be an asset to the team. Get him out of here. He's going to be a fuck up. Look at him. Like, She was right. So with that, I guess we'll just. Oh, let me do shout outs. We have Shattercast Uncut, Enter the Realm, Beer and Bolters 40K. We keep getting promised more Beer and Bolters 40K that we're not getting. Plastic Fanatics, Stasis Lock, Toy Detox, in theory, and building up to it, Fresh Communications, and Breaking the Mold. Shout out to the rest of the Nerd Rage team, Raul on Instagram, and Manny working behind the scenes. And then we also have Black Phillip doing stuff. And
he's live streaming Twitch.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
And Dante doing all the Facebook work. And of course, Marilyn Phil was able to join us today. Anything before we get up? Anything? All right. So with that, let me do my Adam. I'll sandwich it if you don't mind. I'm going to sit more astute. I got my serious pants on. Great tits.
Flappy labius.
Velvety vagina.
Tight dick player. That was good.